Well, that's kind of messed up. Sorry about that, folks. Welcome back to Indaba Africa. This is Chris coming to you from Central Pennsylvania. Sounds like my volume is pretty good. The sound is pretty good. Excellent. Robin, bye donkey for the lovely super sticker there and the thanks. My plaisir. Pleasure to do that. Thank you. You're welcome for the bonus stream. I wasn't planning on doing it, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, folks, I hope everybody's well. What I've done is I've opened up a Zoom stream so that people can call in. I think the Right Reverend Rawhide wanted to call in. I don't know who all was watching the previous streams earlier. We had a great stream, the early stream for a Stray Voltage, and then we just had an interesting discussion with Miranda Melcher and Dr. Colin Robinson. Both subject matter experts on specific topics in Africa. Miranda's case, what happened in Mozambique in the past, and also Colin for his expertise on security across Africa. So we talked about that. So I thought I'd come back on because people want to talk about farm insecurity and murders. A lot of comments at the end saying that people don't want to talk about it. It wasn't the topic, ladies and gentlemen. The topic of that program was Mozambique. Anyway, so we can happily talk about that here, and I've got a Zoom session going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and paste in the chat right now. The Right Reverend Allhide, I know, wants to call in. Hang on, Hendo. There it is. You don't need a password. You just need that link to get in. I'm letting one person at a time in, folks. We're not going to have a whole massive crowd of people come in here, so let's see what happens. All right. So anybody wants to call in, the call is there. So you just click on that if you got Zoom, and you can join in. And I'll take one person at a time. I'll try to get as many people as possible if anybody doesn't. So there's the link. I'll pass it again. Hendo, you can make a copy of that so you can stick it in there later on as we go along. Shouldn't need a password. Anyway, there he is. The Right Reverend Rawhide is looking to come in now. Okay, excellent.
Looking to come in now. Okay, excellent.
But the problem. All right, you got to turn your volume off.
You got to turn your volume off.
All right, I've just put the Right Reverend on mute because you're getting feedback. When you call in a Zoom session, you can't have audio in the background because the stream has a delay, and then you can't hear properly. So what you have to do when you call in a Zoom session is use an earpiece, and then you have to put the volume down to your speakers. There's a lag time between when you actually say something on the stream and when it appears. So what happens is that you're getting my sound coming back, and I'm getting feedback. So are you able to do that, the Right Reverend Rawhide? Are you able to put an earpiece in or turn down the volume on your set and then just talk? But I have a feeling if you don't have an earpiece, you're not going to be able to hear what's said. So that's going to be a problem. So your camera's working and your volume's working, but the problem is that when I put I've got you on mute, my desktop audio is on mute, but when I bring you off of mute, then what's going to happen is that there's going to be feedback. So you're going to need an earpiece. Do you have earphones you can plug in or no? By the way, I love that background, man. Check out the background he's got there. That's awesome. That pier going out into the water, that turquoise looking water and those beaches. I'm not a beach person, but that is freaking awesome. And hopefully we'll find out what the story is with that photo. It looks like from the 1950s on the upper side there hanging on the wall. That's interesting. All right, so you're going to need to, we're not going to be able to hear you. I've got you on mute because I'm going to take it off and watch what happens. It's going to happen again. You're going to get feedback because your sound is coming out on that side and then it's picked up and then it's fed back a second time. Right now at this moment you won't hear it because there's a delay, but in a moment it's going to happen. And actually your microphone's on mute, so it's not picking up my sound. Anyway, who else is here? So the Right Reverend Allhide, let me ask you this question because I know you can hear me. Do you have earphones of some sort that you'll be able to plug in? If you do, give me a thumbs up and I can drop you off the call and invite you back in or just put you in the waiting room. I can put you in the waiting room. Let me see if anybody else has called in. No, it's just you and I right now. Does anyone else want to call in? The link is there. Yeah, it is an awesome background. By the way, while the Right Reverend Allhide is messing around with that, let me share this with you, ladies and gentlemen. I have it on good authority that tomorrow, just 40 minutes from right now, is Laizan's birthday. Check it out. It's her birthday. Happy birthday to Laizan. I think she'll be 19 this year. So we just thought we'd share that with you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to let that out, Laizan. I'm sure you don't want people to know your age, but she'll be 19 this year as of midnight. So happy birthday to Laizan. Congratulations on your birthday. It's always a big day. Anyway, folks, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and put the Right Reverend. What does he have an earphone? Oh, he's getting one right. Okay, I'm going to put him back into. Well, actually, we can leave him up the screen if you guys don't mind. As the Right Reverend Rawhide tries to sort this out, we'll just leave him up there because no one else has called in. But yeah, she is very young, especially given the fact she's a nursing professional. She went through nursing school in like 25 minutes, I think. So I'd be a little nervous about getting care from her because she's so young and inexperienced. Just kidding, having a go at it. But happy birthday, Laizan. Happy birthday. Anyway, so she's most welcome. So the Right Reverend Rawhide messes around. In the meantime, he's got a really cool background. It looks better than my background. So I guess we'll leave him up there in the conversation. Yeah, I tried to do the Zoom windows, but my screen, something's not right here. Let me see. Let's see if I can get him on the left there. Zoom left. Okay, yeah, no, he's good there. So I don't know why I was wrong. And let me do the Zoom right. And that wasn't working earlier. Oh, there it is. Okay, I can take the Zoom everybody. All right, now they're working. For some reason, they weren't working earlier, so I got to take the all people off the Zoom all participants. There we go. Now we're back to a better screen. So, yeah, that looks better. Anyway, folks, yeah, so just waiting for the Right Reverend Rawhide. Who is Laizan? Laizan? Who is Laizan? Oh, Laizan. Yes, I didn't say Lizan. I said Laizan. Maybe I pronounce it wrong, but that's Laizan to me. Anyway, so as we, the Right Reverend Rawhide, I'm sure has something interesting to contribute. So we keep sitting here. People are like, what kind of show is this? Who's the dude walking around and looking for earphones, man? What are we doing here? Is he ready? Are you ready? Is the Right Reverend Rawhide ready? I don't think he is because that's not plugged in. Oh, that looks kind of tight on his face. There you go. There you go. All right. All right. Hang on. Anyone else waiting to Zoom? We've still got the Right Reverend Rawhide. Okay. He's mucking around. It says he's mucking around. Laizan says I pronounce it fairly well. Well, thank you. By a donkey, Laizan. It's the rest that's hard. Laizan els now and dona ze fun. Oh, okay. That means now. Now named. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. That was, you told me that story before, but I never quite think I got it. So, all right. So, Mara, you know the Right Reverend Rawhide. Is that who you're waiting on? Okay. Let's see if he's ready now. Are you ready now? Let's see. I'll take him off mute. Oh, you've got to take yourself off mute. You're on mute on that side. Your microphone. Robin's like, come on, man. Come on. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, it's official. Sleepy Joe Biden is the Democratic nominee for President of the United States. So November, we'll be seeing an election between him and the presumptive Republican nominee, which will be Donald Trump. And their convention starts next week. So it should be interesting to see what happens. All right, so we're having fun here, but his mic is on mute. Oh, there's some headphones. He's got a lot of headphones. Do any of them work? All right, so who's the tech guy? Are we going to talk about farm attacks? Sure, Erica, why don't you call in and we'll talk about farm attacks, but we'll give Right Reverend Rawhide a little bit longer here. A little bit longer and see what's going on. By the way, folks, 24 folks tuning in. I know most of you are in South Africa, so thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I wasn't expecting to do this bonus Night Owl edition since I've already been on twice today. And yeah, but here we are. He wanted to Zoom to show his cool stuff. All right, if he's up, he's got to turn the microphone on now. I think he's starting to get exasperated. Is the Right Reverend Rawhide starting to get exasperated? Look at that smile. I see the smile. He's not exasperated yet. What did Robin say that everybody's laughing? Oh, you wanted to show us cool stuff. Yeah. All right. So he does have a cool looking space there. I'm telling you, man, that's a cool setup. That is an awesome picture in the background. Yeah. And it's not a green screen. You know, we're accustomed to getting green screens when people are online, but this isn't a green screen. All right. Come on, Right Reverend. I lost an audience member, man. Come on. They're getting bored. Okay. Take your mic off mute. He's still on mute. I can see the red spot right there. He's on go slow. Where's Yanni to help him? Morton said Trump's going to demolish Biden. Yeah, I hope that's the case. I think that's the case. We'll see. Wow. Oh, what was that? Oh, the screen just changed. Okay. All right. Still on. Your mic's on mute. All right, now I'm just in this because the anticipation is becoming too much. Longest zoom in by the Reverend. His microphone. Anyone else calling yet? You guys talk a big game. Oh, we're going to call in. We're going to call in. Nobody else has called in. Okay, there is the Zoom. Can all right, Reverend Roy, do sign language? Well, listen, we can all do sign language, at least at President Mandela's funeral, because the person that was doing it didn't even do sign language. All right. Oops, he's dropped off. Well, look at that. I look kind of weird, don't I? All right, let me just adjust this. I'll sit like this for the moment, and I'll turn the left one off here. If you're wondering what's going on, it's because I divided these screens up. So zoom right, zoom left. All right, there you go. So I'm up on the screen. Erica doesn't have her makeup on. Oh, come on. That's just lame. It's just lame. Come on, man. I would say something stereotypical, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Okay, I need to turn this one on. Right, Chris off and that one on. Okay, now I'm back on the screen. All right. All right, so now we're all aging with Reverend. Okay, folks, there's the link. If anybody wants to call in who's here, feel free to call in. If you're a genuine person, then we'll get you on the stream and we'll chat. You guys want to talk? So who wants to talk about the farmers? We had the protest that took place again. And Hendo says, I'll just be swearing a lot. It's okay. This is not a for children stream. So I ask you don't cuss, but you're welcome to. Andrew with a K, Knoz is here. Welcome. Anyway, anyone else calling? Nope, it's just me so far. I keep looking over here just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into an evening edition of Night Owls, the Stray Voltage stream, which was not going to be on the schedule. We decided to do it because people, I think, want to talk about farm murders in South Africa. So let's talk about farm murders. Laizan said, I never said I'll call in. People make me nervous and I start to stutter. I wouldn't worry about that. I'll cover for you. Look at my guest, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, those of you who watched the stream a little while ago, what'd you think of that? I mean, my guests weren't sure how it would go, and afterwards I got these wonderful compliments after I went off air from Miranda. She really enjoyed the way that I minister and run the show, how I set the stage, how I kind of flow the questions and bring the chat in. She really appreciated it. She didn't know what to expect. I think most of my guests that come on kind of have that experience. Some are our old hands at going on and calling in, but not everybody is. Mara says, Erica, you're beautiful. Don't need it, my friend. Listen, what you can do if you're really concerned is you can just put one of the cowboy hats on and kind of lean down into the microphone like this, and then nobody can see you. Or we can just do voice. If you want to call in, you don't have to be on camera, ladies and gentlemen. You can keep your camera off, and we can just hear your voice. If I know you. If I don't know you, you're not coming in without the camera. We learned that lesson. Robin says one dislike because there's a ignoramus troll. It's probably the racist who tries to come on the channel all the time, Robin, disliking it. You know, it doesn't matter. The moment that it's announced, if they're still awake or they get an alert, they'll just go and push the dislike. But again, living rent-free, as Ronaldo Jos likes to say, and I like to say, living rent-free. Thank you so much. By the way, since I did this stream, folks, I didn't just make the stream. I actually changed for y'all, brushed my hair, brushed my beard, and I changed my top. Look at that. I got a Bulls jersey on now. There you go. Got a blue Bulls jersey on. Since we've got Curry Cup coming up very soon, and there's nobody else in the chat. All right. No, the Right Reverend Rawhide said, sorry, folks. No, don't be sorry at all, Right Reverend Rawhide. I maybe didn't realize. Folks, when you go on a stream, someone's YouTubing or they're Twitter or twitching or they're on Facebook, there is a delay between the time that you speak and have communication over where the signal is being processed, like right here on my computer. It goes out to YouTube, and then YouTube sends it to the world. Even with the lowest setting of ultra low latency, there is a lag time. So you're never seeing it in actual real time. What I just said, you'll see in a few moments. You haven't seen it yet. Charmaine says, please, the Stormers. Yeah, I'll have Stormers on again. I just grabbed this one because it's comfort fitting and I'm tired. I didn't feel like wearing the other ones. Yeah, maybe I'll change jerseys during one of the streams sometime. But yeah, so there's always a lag. And because of the lag, you've got to, because it's not in sync with what's being said at the moment. And that's understandable. I mean, it's technologically, think about the challenge of this signal going all over the world, being broken into bits in so many hundreds, if not thousands of different locations where people are getting it. Oh, my beard just fell apart there. My mustache. Anyway, so yeah, think about the technological challenge of that. So what happens is that even with the ultra low latency, it's set for 3-second delay. So if I say something now, it doesn't get to you, even under the perfect circumstances. Some people have lag because of their data connection even longer. And then what happens when you call in is that the sound comes in after I talk, and on top of it, it crosses over. Charmaine is, I'm Hank. What do I got? Some people. Good evening, Hank. Welcome. Charmaine says, thank you. I'll kneel to that. You don't kneel to that. Come on. Anyway, yeah. So we can hide behind your beard like a gnome. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. So that delays there. Let me see. Is anybody calling? It's just me. So I've put the channel. Okay. Erica's going to call in. Look at that. You guys have guilted her into it. Look at that. Look at that. You guys have guilted Eric into calling in. Robin has called in once before, but not to the show. Robin just called into my moderator stream. So, yeah, we get Robin in here sometime. I don't know if she wants to come on. She's a delightful young lady. So, anyway, what else? We're just waiting for Erica to get there now. And so I'm not sure what's going on with the right Reverend Allhide if he just doesn't have the right setup. But what you need, Reverend, is you need to be able to have a cord, whatever your machine you're plugged in, laptop, phone, whatever it is, that lets you get the sound that way so you can hear what I'm asking in the connection and not get it from your television. Of course, if you're trying to watch me on the television, you're behind and you're hearing my questions after I've already said them, and that's the problem. So, okay, Robin is shy. Okay, that may be true. That may be true. She's shy, but she's a nice lady. Yep, absolutely nice. And just to confirm the rumors, or to deny the rumors, Robin is not an old white guy. Just so you know that, okay? Apparently people think that. So, just me still. Just me, double checking. All right. So, yeah. So, farm murders. Talk about farm murders. They seem to be continuing apace in South Africa with virtually no response from the government whatsoever. None. Do we see we see the Minister of Sports, Arts, and Culture coming out whining about the conduct of South African rugby players who don't work for him, are not representing the government, and are simply based in the United Kingdom, where they play for a private club in a private league in a private capacity, and they stand up against racism in rugby by wearing T-shirts. But because they don't bow down in submission to a movement that's based in the United States, it has nothing to do with South Africa. This guy stands up and speaks about that. He was the Minister of Police before. What did he do about rural farm murders and farm killings in South Africa? Nothing. He did nothing to ameliorate the situation. And now he's a sports minister, and he's stoking racial hatred along with his fellow traveler, the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, who runs around and stereotypes 4.8 million white South Africans as racist by nature. Now, we did hear a phrase like that, naughty by nature. That was a little bit different, but racist by nature? Come on, that's ridiculous. All right. So Erica's just teasing us. She's just teasing. She said she's calling in. Nobody's calling in. Yanni's not here. I wonder what Yanni's doing. He's probably gaming with Joe. I bet he's on his control, console right now. They're probably playing Call of Duty or something like that. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, folks. What else? Robin says, I think so too. Yeah. Oh, Rudy's getting laptop. Oh, Rudy might call in. Okay. There you go. We'll see. Yeah. Robin has that really cool brown thumbs up. I have that on my WhatsApp, but it works sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. It's really weird. Charmaine says, we have a farm in the crew. Went there last week and no neighbor farms left, just abandoned farmhouses. It's falling apart. Really, really sad. Sorry to hear that, Charmaine. Really sad to hear that. But that's kind of what the effort is. She's putting a war paint on. Yeah, that's part of the effort. What's going on here? It's happened in other places. And what happens? No agricultural production. You go from a farm, from an agricultural exporting country to a country that needs to import food to feed itself. That would be really tragic. But that is a potential future for South Africa at the rate it's going. We've already seen, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of apartheid in 1994, there were 68,000 commercial farmers in South Africa, white commercial farmers. Today, there are less than 32,000, and I don't even know the exact number. That's an estimate on my part. Some have said it's below 30,000. Now, some of that's farm consolidation, but a lot of that's people have been driven off the farms. And this is a crisis. And it's not just whites it's happening to. It's Indians, blacks, coloreds. It's the farm workers. It's their pets, their livestock. It's really, really sad. No, Erica didn't phone in. She's still working on it. Robin says YouTube gives the option to change the skin color since we're so progressive. Well, that's cool. No, Robin, when I'm talking to someone in Africa, when I have that, I change that sometimes, and people send it to me. I mean, I use it myself for the brown thumbs up. Sometimes I use the yellow one. It's not white or pink. It's yellow. I actually like the brown one better. It shows up better on the screen. Here we go. Eric is calling in. Right, here we go. I'm going to let her in the stream, and we'll see what happens. Sandman, Brad Binder on Sunday. What a legend. Okay, there's Erica. Cool beans. She's connecting. Audio. 28,000 white farmers, what Malcolm Stark says. Yeah, I don't have any info on that. Oh, now Hendo wants to come in. There's Erica. You got your camera off.
Okay.
No, I mean, is it intentional? You can leave it off if you want. I know who you are, so I trust you. If you want to leave the camera off, you can, but it's off. I'm just letting you know it's off.
I don't know how to switch it on my iPad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hang on.
All right. Well,
hang on.
Well, don't worry about the camera.
Well, I can come back.
Yeah, let's come back
Yeah.
because I got people popping in. I got Hendo and the Right Reverend
All
Rawhide.
right.
So go ahead and exit, and then I'll get hang on, the Right Reverend Rawhide.
Oh, good. Is he coming? Great.
Yeah.
I'll come in later.
Okay, that's cool. Go back in the waiting room.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Reverend Rawhide is in there. Now, why do I have three? Oh, Erica's still there. I'll put you in the waiting room. Okay. All right, there we go. All right. All right, Reverend Rawhide, are you there? It says no speaker and no camera. Yeah, Hendo, I saw you, and I was trying to get you, but Hendo, you always leave too fast, man. You have no patience. You hear me talking to folks. Come back, Hendo. I'm going to put the Right Reverend Rawhide back in the waiting room because he's clearly not ready. There's no camera, no microphone on his connection. So, Hendo, come on back. Hendo, come back, please. Oh my goodness, this is becoming entertaining here. So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, as we approach the top of the hour, happy birthday to our own Laizan. It's nearly her birthday at midnight, so congratulations there. Rudy is there. Okay, there's Hendo. Okay, Hendo's coming in. All right, so we'll get Hendo in here. All right, there he is. His audio's connecting. Your microphone. There you go.
Is this working?
It's working, except that you're vertical instead of horizontal. You're not landscape, but that's okay. We can live with that.
Oh my God, this is the first time I'm doing something like this.
Hey, well, no, thanks for calling in, Hendo. And by the way, thanks for doing a great job on the channel. Really appreciate your patronage, your participation, and all your contributions on the channel. Very much appreciated. So thank you.
Well, nobody wanted to call in, so I decided, well, give it a go.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. Because you tried to call it once or twice before when I had other ones, but then you disappeared too quickly. I'm like, don't run off.
No, we moderate. This is people hiding in the background.
Yeah,
we
no,
don't.
absolutely.
we Zoom shy.
No, I got that. No, that's one thing. A lot of people get this person on your channel, and then when you have a call-in show, you invite them. Okay, well, you have a chance to come. Oh no. Well, wait, come on. People don't always want to be out there and show themselves. I mean, look how people react, man. I mean, you've seen this, Hendo, the nonsense that people come on here and attack me, utter nonsense, and you take a risk by coming on. But anyway,
Yes.
Go ahead.
You put yourself out there when you do something like this, and not everybody's natural at what you're doing. Basically, this is the very first time I'm doing something like this.
So Robin has an apropos question, which I don't know if you saw in the chat, and I'm going to ask it. She wants to know if Hendo is talking in all caps.
I shout in all bloody caps. I'm shouting all the way from the UK. I get triggered by Cyril Ramaphosa. That is why. Okay.
Hank said Mr.
You
Cap.
can't have me online because I could get animated.
Oh, he said Hendo says Mr. Caps Lock is on the phone.
Yes, it's super glued on the upper caps. Oh my God.
So Rudy, don't run away. Rudy Roo, is that you? If it's Rudy Roo, then let me know in the chat. You got to put something in there because I've got two Rudys, and I don't know if I've got somebody trying to play games here. I'm not going to play games tonight. So Rudy Roo, if you're still here and you want to come in, you're going to have to tell me in the chat that it's you, and I'll recognize your username.
Where's the rest of the gang?
What's that? Well, yeah, but I mean, I want to be careful I don't get Zoom bombed here because people pull that crap before. I got two Rudys trying to come in. So anyway, and I don't recognize either of them from that standpoint. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I'm surprised you're here, Hendo. I mean, don't you know that only old white people are on this channel? It's an all whites channel. Haven't you heard that rumor?
Okay, maybe I'm white on the inside.
No, it's just comical. Oh, Rudy Roo said he tried one, then changed. No, Rudy, you're in a waiting room, dude. Okay, so I've got both of them.
The Reverend.
So I got to tell Rudy real quick. You need to drop both of those, and then just when they're both gone, start again, and just be patient. I got you waiting room. I'm not going to do multiple people here because we saw what happened last time. Anyway, besides Hendo, it's Hendo's time. It's Mr. All Caps. We got to give him a minute, give him a little notoriety and fame here.
No, I'm already infamous in the chat room as it is. Now I'm online. That's going to make things worse. Last time I was shaven and everything. I had my Vince Diesel hairstyle, but I completely got the time wrong for the moderators to call in. Then Erica came back to me and said, "Oh, it's finished already." So I said, "Oh shit." That was about a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, Sandman, we get Brad Bender, KTM. Please stop. Or you're going to be putting a timeout. That's you're just filling up the chat. We got it. We got the message. Brad Bender, you're in love with him. You're a fanboy. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Anyway, but Hendo, no, thanks. By the way, let me ask you a question like this since you're there, and Rudy's trying to sort out which Rudy's coming in. So listen, you volunteered to be a moderator in the channel. Somebody recommended I make you a moderator, as I recall back when. Moderator is not an easy thing, right? I mean, you're trying to enjoy and participate and watch the show, and if people are misbehaving, it kind of takes away from your enjoyment or participation, doesn't it?
That is true, because as you pointed out, we do this on a voluntary basis from time to time. Even tonight, I was on another channel. I came in here and I saw there was no moderators. I said, switch over and just check out the chat room, because we've had a lot of trouble with trolls for the past few weeks. You've become infamous.
And what gets me about that is, Salmon, do you even know who he is? It doesn't matter, Salmon. We don't care. Brad Bender, he's a motorcycle racer from South Africa. Big whoop. I don't care. You want to talk rugby? We can talk about that. You're starting to be difficult here, Salmon. Yeah, no, I think the infestation, a couple people made good points. Robin and someone else made a good point that maybe it was my Sia Khaleesi and cutting up your Springbok jersey, and then the fact that I had Steve Hofmeyer on my channel. But I get a kick out of it because I'm making a collage of all my guests that I've had for my interviews, and I'm looking at. I mean, I don't really pay much attention. Rudy, I got you in the waiting room. We'll get you in here in just a moment. Just be patient, brother. Anyway, so
I can't wait to get in.
No, but I'm letting him know. I think he thought that he wasn't coming in, so he's going to get him in here. So thank you, Erica. You've warned. So give a timeout next time. Anyway, so yeah, but it's funny. I look at it and I go across. I've got Evans Larrabee, small scale commercial farmer from Ghana. Yes. I've got Ovigwe Egu, a Nigerian security specialist on the Lake Chad Basin. Then I bring in Komi Klu from a Ghanaian American on debt in Africa. Toyin Usemri, who's a Nigerian American, and the list goes on and on of people of color, people from all over the world. And I get attacked. And plus, the people attacking me know nothing about me. They don't know the things I've done in Africa for Africans and for all people of all races and ethnicities. It's just hysterical to see this stuff. I think
you know things about Africa that we South Africans don't even know. Other people in Africa don't even know. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no. One of the biggest compliments I ever got was from a guy who's a general in Nigeria now, who's got himself in a little bit of trouble with corruption, but we won't go into that. But when he was my student, he came back the next year and he asked if he'd come in and speak to my class, and I said sure. And he was talking about Nigeria, and he told my students, this is very humbling. I think I've shared this in the channel. He said that when I came here to the War College, I signed up for the African Studies because I'm from Africa. I know that it'll be easy. I'll get an easy grade. Then I took Colonel Wyatt's African Studies class, and I realized I don't know Africa. And then so they kind of laughed, and because some of them know me and they interact with me a lot. Hang in there, Rudy. Haven't forgot you. And then he said, but I'm from Nigeria, so I know West Africa. So I took Colonel Wyatt's class, and I found out that I don't know West Africa. And then the students are kind of chuckling, and then he says, but you know what? It was okay because I'm a Nigerian and I know Nigeria. And then I took Colonel Wyatt's class and I realized I don't even know Nigeria.
Oh my God.
No, that's a pretty cool compliment.
That presentation you gave about South African history, that video presentation you showed us a couple of weeks ago, that was actually very good.
Oh, you're talking about the Great Decisions brief I gave.
Yeah. Yes. So, I knew 95% of it, but 5% I didn't know.
But
even I learned.
By the way, that video, no notes.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I made slides. I mean, obviously, so I had talking points so that I could orient people towards it. But no notes, and that's just me. That's my understanding, my knowledge, and I just went from there. And I adjusted based on the audience to see what they're interested in. So yeah.
Well, that was actually very good. No notes. It's not easy. It looks easy, but it's not as easy.
Yeah. Now Rudy has disappeared on me, Hendo, and he said he's going to try again.
Okay, I'm gonna leave. They can pop in.
No, but if you leave, just stay with me for a second until Rudy comes back. Because
Okay.
if you leave, then it's just me again, and that's boring at this
No, where's
point.
Erica?
Erica had to reboot her computer, I think. So we're having a little
Oh
fun
my.
here.
Well, she's still hiding in the chat room.
Yeah,
She's quite shy.
I think that Erica's, putting a little war paint on, so she's
Oh.
she's trying to cover. Or no, Robin. No, Robin is the one restarting her laptop. She's got a problem with her laptop.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, because she dared me to come on.
Who
I haven't shaved.
Who, Robin?
I don't look photogenic.
Who dared you, Robin?
Yes. I
Oh,
said, okay, what the hell? Let's just call in then.
You should dare Robin to come on. You should
Yeah,
guilt
yeah.
Robin into coming on. That would be
Yeah,
entertaining.
she should come on. And birthday girl, which birthday girl? Birthday,
Oh,
19 years old.
She's not really 19. I'm just teasing. I was giving.
Okay.
You always mention a lady's age is younger than she is. Now, if you want.
Yes. That's a safe bet.
Yes, that's always safe. So, and I don't know her age, so I figured I'd go with 19. No, it's Laizan. Laizan's birthday. The nurse. It's her birthday at midnight. So we're about 15 minutes away from her birthday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Charmaine is writing to Tian, says, denkt des dalk die filters. Blij prob na brand. Kan nie die smaak hanteer nie. I don't understand.
Interessant.
I don't understand all of that. Something about filters. And is she talking about cigarettes? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because I do enjoy it when you try at least speaking Afrikaans. Or sometimes they take the mickey, but at least you're trying. It's not easy.
Yeah,
at least your German is better than mine. I'm like, oh God.
Oh, well, my German better be good. I mean, I've been speaking it since 1984. I've been speaking German fluently since sometime in 85. And then actually did academic studies on it to actually figure out the grammar and finished that in about 89. So over 30 years with the grammar. The problem is you don't use it often. You don't use it every day. That's the thing. German just stays there. I mean, I quickly get right back to German. It's not like I stumble much in German. I can stumble a little bit in French sometimes, but I get back in that pretty quickly too. It's Afrikaans where I stumble because my pronunciation sucks. And Swahili, which I lost completely, but then it came back when I started using it again. And then some languages are just hard to pronounce, like Setswana is difficult too. There are some things in Setswana that like, how do you come up with that?
Yeah, practice makes perfect. Like Swahili, you use it again, it comes back. It's not too difficult. Well, the South Africans, it's just Plattdeutsch we can understand a little bit. But Hochdeutsch, Bayerisch, all the other forms of German, even in Switzerland, Deutsch, that's too difficult for us.
Oh, no, well, it's funny for me. It's strange, and I don't know why this is, but I know people who are Germans. They go to Switzerland. They have challenges in different parts of Switzerland. They have difficulty in Bavaria, difficulty in Austria. And unless people intentionally try to slide into a local dialect, if they're just speaking their accent and they're speaking German, I'm usually okay. Even in Switzerland, where it's kind of like, hooty, 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 hooty,
Yes, I spoke to one or two Swiss Deutsch, and they told me they can understand the Germans, but the Germans can't understand them that well at all. It's different dialects and everything. It's quite difficult.
Yeah, Rudy's saying that he keeps getting thrown off. Well, it's not by me. I'm not dropping you, so.
Is it maybe connection or something? I don't know. And who else still wants to come on?
I don't know. I think there's no one here, so I'm just removing somebody from the channel.
Okay.
Who's misbehaving. Yeah.
Oh, another troll.
Yeah, I knew it was a troll from the outset. It's Sandman. Sandman's another sorry loser. So it's funny how many sorry losers show up on the channel. So I've just taken him off. But he'll come back. He'll put a little period in or something like that and change the name.
They change their names and they come back and kick them off.
Yeah.
No, I got heart full of them. I just kicked them off. I've lost my patience.
No,
I don't have the patience you have.
No, and I've been too patient, and that's what people are taking advantage of it. Hey, Winnie Vandermeer is here. I'm English. Believe me, I had to learn to speak Texan. Okay, wait a second. Winnie Vandermeer is English. What? That just doesn't sound right. Rudy, you shouldn't need a password, man. You should just use the link. Let's put the link back in there.
Okay. Oh, where's Yanni gone? Yanni didn't show up tonight. He's hanging out with Dodgy Joe again.
He is. I think they're gaming. That's what's going on.
Yeah, they play quite a lot of gaming.
All right. What's what Winnie's saying, Chris? Really? Well, Van der Merwe doesn't sound very English, my friend. That's why Winnie's saying it's yeah.
No.
That doesn't sound very English surname. Sounds like a different origin there, Dutch. But anyway, I'm just saying, just teasing. Yeah, Rudy, maybe that's just enter your name as something else. That's interesting. And just say yeah. Anyway, I guess it's saying because I removed him, but that's what happens when people call in multiple times, and that happens. So that sucks. I hope we can get Rudy in here. So it wasn't intentional, Rudy. Strandloper is asking if I ever spent any time in Burundi. I've actually never been to Burundi. I was supposed to go to. Oh, Robin's back. She got her computer up. I know because the super sticker's coming. But I was when they sent me to Niger. Here's Erica. She's back. Okay, so Hendo, you want to take off then, man? You good?
Yes, I don't mind. Maybe just check what do I do here. Stop video. Okay. Cheers for that.
All right. Thanks a lot, Hendo. I appreciate it, man.
I'll
All right, there's Hendo, and I'll admit Erica. All right, cool beans. Robin's got a super sticker coming up. I haven't seen it show up yet. There it is. There's a super sticker from Robin, and it's a thumbs up. Says 14 Rand. Thanks a lot, Robin. I appreciate that. Bye, donkey, Robin. Hey, there's Erica. Hey, Erica. We're trying to get Hendo to guilt Robin into calling in. Erica. Got no movement there. That's strange. Oh, I can hear her now. But hey, Erica, how's it going? Oh, there you are. How's it?
Fine. I've just got a weird feed going on here. I'm hearing you about 10 times. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, but do you have an earpiece in, or are you listening to the speakers? That might be the reason why.
No, this is crazy. Hang on.
Okay.
Where's it going? I've got an earpiece in, but something's crazy here.
Okay. It must be a data connection.
Okay. Hello?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh,
now
there
that's
we go.
better.
Okay. Hey, before we go any further,
Yeah,
Erica.
I switched off.
Okay, before we go any further, I got to say this really quickly. Winnie's giving me a hard time because I wasn't picking on her, but I think she thinks I was picking her. Winnie says, Chris, has it occurred to you that a woman adopts the husband's last name? I thought we were past that. I thought it was a modern era. No women took the men's name. In fact, a friend of mine took his wife's name because his last name was Piggott, and he got tired of being abused for having a name like Piggott. So he took his new spouse's name. The man took the wife's name, and now he's known as Seller instead of Piggott. So.
Well, my maiden name was Landry, and I used to be called Laundry.
Laundry.
And then I married an onion, so I ended up being an onion.
That's interesting.
So now I don't know. I've got an identity problem.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So what's going on? Do you want to talk about farm murders or what? Oh, by the way, Mara says you look beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that very nice?
I've got lipstick on. Yes, you wanted to talk about farm attacks and that. I'm quite happy to talk about what happened to us. If you want to.
Oh, you want to talk about?
If you want to go down that road.
Erica, you want to talk about the farm attack on your farm? Well, I didn't realize you wanted to do that. Oh, I'm okay if you're fine with doing that. Wow. Okay. Folks, this is unexpected. I think I just want to talk about them in general, but if I think a lot of people are curious to know what happened on your farm and yeah, okay, that's brilliant. So by the way, before we do that, Erica, Hendo just told Robin, of course, in all caps, Robin, that was the first time I was ever online, and you were fantastic, Hendo. Thanks for calling in, man. Now guilt Robin into calling. Anyway, go ahead, Erica.
The our farm attack was a bit strange, but I don't know. There's a lot of theories going around the community about what happened, as it normally happens in small communities. But what happened with us is that My grandson was born on Thursday, and then we had our farm attack on Friday, and I wasn't at home, which was very, very, very fortunate because I'd hate to know what would have happened if I was there. Um, it was my partner, my ex-partner, and my son were both victims in the farm attack, and Tim was able to get out of his chains just in time to save my partner's life. But what happened was...
Tim is your son?
Yes, Tim is my son. He's actually right here. Tim?
Okay. Does he want to get on the camera or no?
Here's Tim.
Hey, Tim, how's it?
Yeah.
He's got a good-looking beard going on there, too.
Yeah.
I can't hear anything, though.
I know. He can't. Well, that's Tim. Tim was also in the attack, and what happened?
Sorry, Erica. How was Tim at the time? Sorry.
Sorry, say that again.
How old was Tim at the time of the attack?
Tim, how old were you?
How old was I?
Yeah, was it 36?
Yeah, about 36.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
36.
Okay, I thought maybe you were. I thought maybe he was a young child or something.
I don't know, 37.
No. He was 36. What happened was that the guys were waiting for my partner to come back home, and so they were hiding under the bucky, the other bucky. One was hiding underneath that, another was hiding in another outside room, and then there were three of them apparently, and then when my partner got out of his bucky, they attacked him. And they beat him up into a pulp and dragged him took the keys from him and opened the house, dragged him through to the main bedroom, and asking for the money. They kept on saying, "Where's the money? Where's the money?" And everybody on the farm knew that we don't keep money around. That's a policy that I insisted that as soon as we got cash in for selling cattle or something like that, we would take that money and go and pay a TWK or something like that, so that we didn't have cash in the house as a security measure. So everybody on the farm knew we didn't have money, and yet they were beating up my partner, asking him for money. And they finally were able to get the safe open. There were guns in the safe. They left that alone. My jewelry, for what it's worth, was in there as well. They left that alone. They took my partner's cell phone and threw that away eventually. But Tim actually was in his room, and he came through to see what was going on. And when they saw him, they tied him up with a chain. And then they carried on beating up my partner, and then they started strangling my partner in front of Tim, and he managed to get out of his chains, and chase them away. And well, that's basically what happened. And for me, well, I was in Durban then. And when I heard about the attack, I got into the car. It was raining, and it was night, and I drove back through to Kokstad, where my partner was taken to, and in record time. My worst was what happened afterwards, but that's another story. But the farm attack was bad. Yeah. When I saw my partner afterwards, I didn't think he would make it. Fortunately, I insisted that he goes to a good hospital, and he was on my medical aid, so I could intervene in that way. So they took him through to St. Augustine's, but I was thrown out in a sense. My partner's family took over, and it's another story.
Just a second. I'll tell this to Rudy. So Rudy, I'm going to send you're in the waiting room now. You're back. Just hang in there, man, because now we've we've got Eric in, and we started on something got something very interesting here. So it's going to take a little bit. So just be patient, Rudy. We'll get you in. Thanks for your patience for coming back. So I've sent that message to, it says to everyone, but it should be to Rudy. Anyway, so let me add a few things here. So I thought this was a long time ago, but it sounds recent. But don't answer that yet, Erica. Just a few things.
It was 2 years ago.
Okay, 2 years. Okay, there you've answered it. So I thought it was a long time ago. So there's a few things in the chat.
Yeah.
What's that, Tim? What did Tim say?
I don't know.
Oh.
What did you say, Tim?
I could have been 35 then.
Okay. Okay. So let me just cover a few things very quickly, just to lighten the moment there. But it was, oh gosh, now that the chat just got away from me. So
I didn't even recognize Philip when I saw him.
Oh yeah.
Tim says he didn't recognize Philip. Yeah.
So Tion said, was just telling Hendo, because he was in the call before you, says, we saw you speaking normally, no caps. I thought that was interesting.
I wondered where his cap was on his head.
Yeah, that wasn't there. So Charmaine Yonk says, Chris, my maiden name was Van der Westhuizen. Can you pronounce that? I think I can. I think I just did.
You did well.
But to be fair, it's not hard, because if you follow rugby and you're a Springbok fan, you've heard the name Joost van der Westhuizen pronounced 1,000 times, and so you know that name. Anyway, so let's see. So Robin says, wow, Erica, talking about how you look. And she says, hey, Tim. And then Malcolm says, Erica looks young. And then Andrew says, gorgeous, Erica. And then Tian says, well done.
I'm a granny.
Well, that's...
I'm a granny.
And then Charmaine says, one gorgeous lady. Robin, Erica had a first-hand experience. Thanks for sharing your story. Oh, she's yeah. And then there was a point here, I didn't want to miss it. Morton Christie saying, Erica, where's the area your farm is situated at? If you can share that. It's in KZN, right?
Yeah, sure. It was on the Kokstad Underberg Road. It was actually between Kokstad and Swartberg. For those people who know that area, and it's a dairy farm. We provide milk to Clover. Clover come in and buy our milk, so it's well-run dairy. And I love it. I love working in the dairy. Love working with the cows. I miss my old cows, and also the smell and the noise. The noise of the cows moving, and I just miss it now. I miss it a lot.
So what's happened to the farm? Is it derelict, or is someone else operating it, or what's happened to it?
No. Well, they my partner's family tried to kick me off the farm. I got blamed for organizing the farm attack. I had private investigators on me for months after that, and they tried to kick me off the farm onto the street. But fortunately, I had a very good lawyer. So it's still ongoing, so I can't really talk much
No. That's fine.
About it. We don't. No. But there's a court case that I still have to go through, because I've had terrible things that I've been accused of.
So your farm gets attacked, and your son is nearly killed. Your partner's nearly killed. And then you're further dealing with harassment after the fact by people accusing. This is a strange situation, bizarre. I'm really sorry you've gone through this. But now, can I ask a question that unrelated to the attack?
Sure.
What sort of dairy farming? Do you have Holsteins? What kind of cattle were they?
It was Holsteins, Friesland and Holsteins.
Okay, yeah. Because I was a dairy farmer when I was a youth, and we had Jerseys mostly, a couple Guernseys, and
I love those.
Oh, Jerseys they're so docile. They're beautiful creatures. And they make great butter fat content. So because we made butter, we sold butter. They're much better for the butter because the Holsteins it's much lower. The Holsteins produce a lot of milk though, so I mean if you're looking for volume, that's the right route to go. But we were looking for quality.
Definitely quality you'll get in the Jersey cow, and those little calves, those Jersey calves. Oh, they're all so cute.
So we had a calf, a Jersey calf that we had, and her name was Christy, and I showed her at the fair. She was just adorable. They're
Yeah.
just adorable creatures, and they're all legs. They're all legs when they're young like that. I mean, it's
Yes.
yeah, this spindly like little
Yes.
ballerina dancers. It's pretty funny. Yikes. Well, people are
They
saying,
look like little babies, with their big brown eyes.
yeah, no, people are saying you have a lot of energy. Way to hang in there. So that's awesome. I think people are impressed how you're hanging in there. So, so you're not on the farm anymore, but farming is a different
Yeah.
life. It's missing out on. It's kind of a drag, I'll bet.
I think it needs to be in your blood, and my grandmother, she was a such farmer's daughter, and she was tough lady. She really was. So I do come from a farming a family, but just farming family.
So Laizan has popped on. She says, "What have I missed? What, you missed your birthday? Happy birthday, Laizan! It's after midnight in South Africa now. Happy birthday to you."
Yes, yes. How old is she?
19.
No.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, now people are having a go at us now. Hendo is like, now we have two dairy farmers on comparing cows now. Well, yes, we are. Anyway.
Have you ever tried making cheese?
No, we never made cheese. Just milk and butter. We made butter. Butter is a complicated process in of itself. But no, we never made cheese. The butter sold well, and and the Jersey's well suited for it for making that. So, but as you know, that's quite a process. It involves ice and salt and this and that. And anyway, but yeah, I didn't like milking cows twice a day, but I did appreciate and enjoy growing up on a farm when I did, because I learned the value of hard work, of ethics, of management, of leading. All these things are things a farmer must have. And even as a kid, I pretty much ran the farm myself, and it was a small farm. And so I learned all these things. You have to learn how to operate independently. By the way, what's that behind you? Is that a painting? Did you do that painting of a beach, or what is that, a print? What is that?
Yeah, it's a painting, oil painting. I finished it last week.
That is incredible. Well done, Erica. That is awesome.
I think it's mirrored. The camera has mirrored it. Well, it looks mirrored on my screen. I don't know.
Looks great from this angle. Looks like a wave on a beach. By the way, Robin has just given a super chat, and she says, "Happy birthday, Laizan."
Thank you.
Thank you, Laizan.
And thank you for complimenting me on my painting as well. Thank you.
Cool beans. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you still want to talk about the farm attack, because the guys haven't been, it was just bizarre because the guys weren't, the police came late, only days later, to take fingerprints, and it was too late then. And there's been no follow-up. Everybody knows in the community, in the Franklin community, who did it, but nobody wants to say anything, which is very strange.
Well, the whole thing is strange. If they know who did it, why are they blaming you unless somebody's targeting you and trying to deflect attention from someone else? It's really weird.
That's exactly what people who I've spoken to afterwards are all saying. There's something very fishy going on here. Why I was being investigated, and if they knew already who it was.
Excuse me. Well, I didn't know how much you wanted to talk to it and get into it, because I know it's painful and it's still an ongoing issue you're dealing with. So, Rudy's been in the waiting room. Do you mind if I bring him in, and then we'll Erica, thanks a lot for calling in. I appreciate it. And that is an awesome painting. That is really awesome. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you very much.
Oh no, Rudy. Wait. Okay, Rudy's saying let her chat. A good thing. Okay. Well, we weren't trying to chase. We weren't trying to chase her away, but I'm not trying to pick at a scab. I mean, because I know how sensitive things get. So, like Lars Salas is talking. He says that when he was 6 years old, their plot in Midram was attacked, and he says that his father said if the thieves hadn't found the weed, they'd probably all be dead. Apparently they found marijuana and they took off. But yeah, okay. So we won't chase you off, Erica. Rudy is going to sit on the sidelines and wait patiently. So you want to talk more about the farm situation? We can do that. I just didn't want to.
Sure, you can carry on.
Yeah.
You can carry on asking me questions. I'm fine.
Okay.
I've come a long way already. Yeah.
All right. Cool beans. So, no one's ever been arrested for this, correct?
No, no.
But people have a good idea or know exactly who's either responsible or who did the attack. Is it different? Is it someone else who orchestrated, or the same people orchestrated and conducted it?
Well, I asked Tim quite a few questions because he was the only eyewitness around there, and which was very odd because the police didn't ask him any questions. And one of the things that he said to me is that the attackers, when they were inside the house, they had beanies on and t-shirts that they were going around like this, and asking Tim, where are the cameras? Where are the cameras? Where are the cameras? And we had cameras installed at one stage, but when the farm attack took place, they weren't working. And there was only one person that knew where the cameras were. It was a maid that used to work for us. And she stopped working there. And after the farm attack, which was quite okay, after the farm attack,
Connection's bad.
she almost in the community. She almost took on. Can you hear me?
The whole last part was broken up. If you could say it again, the cameras, only one person knew, and then it all kind of merged after that. Looks like your data connection is not great now.
But there was only one person. Okay, all right. I know the connection's a bit bad.
Well, Erica, why don't you do this? We've seen you look. Oh, there you are. You look lovely. Your picture, your painting. We've seen. If the connection stays bad, you could just turn off the camera. But anyway, it looks like it's working again.
Okay. All right. Well, we were basically able, or I was able to pinpoint or work it out to one family who could have given the information of what was going on in the house. And that family was never investigated, ever, which was very strange. Mm-hmm. And instead, everything was deflected back onto me.
That is very strange.
And yeah, anyway, you get strange people around. It just worries me that the police didn't do their work properly.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
No, I was going to say the whole thing seems really, really strange, and well, I mean, without prying too much, I mean, the people who are trying to assess blame and lay blame on you are these other people in the farming community, are these law enforcement officials, or just a host of different people who try to blame you for that?
It was basically my partner's family. Yeah.
Okay, your partner's family. Okay. So in the midst of these attacks that happen all the time, all over South Africa, they chose to seek to blame you for something that's happening to people in every province, every night of the year around South Africa.
Well, this particular farm attack, they were trying. The suggestion was that I wasn't involved in it, that I masterminded it. Our farm attack, which is very weird. I wasn't there because my daughter had a baby the day before. My grandson was born the day before. Mm-hmm. And what was very interesting is that the staff must have known it, because when I was packing my car to come to Durban, the staff working for me, in the garden and in the house, I had a very good relationship with them, and they were so happy to see me go. And I wondered why are they so happy now to see me go? And there were obviously signs left, that we don't know, this bushcraft that they know about, and they must have known this was going to happen. And so obviously the staff close to me were quite happy to see that I won't be there. But I can't understand, why didn't they tell us? Why did they tell me that something was going to happen? One of them suggested that I must always keep the curtains closed, which is what I did. So it's all very strange. They know about things we don't know. They see signs in the roads or in the fog that we don't know how to interpret.
Gotcha. It is this. I mean, I really don't know what to say about these sorts of things because it's really just really such an odd thing. Viking Boar has asked me to slow down because I talk too fast and he's I guess hard of hearing. So my apologies, Viking Boar. It's going to be difficult for me to do all the time, but I can do it in this case. So I'll slow down a little bit. But because I'll forget. Now, when I give presentations in front of audiences, I can see the faces of my guests or my audience, and I can adjust my tempo and cadence to that. And when I speak to non-English speaking audiences in person, I'm cognizant of that and I adjust. But it's a little more difficult when you're on air and you're only looking at a screen or looking to a camera to remember to do that. So anyway, but sorry about that. So yeah, so the farm's still in operation, and is your partner or former partner still there?
Well, it's been leased. One of our neighbors they've leased the cows and they leased the dairy, the lands, everything. And he has come in and he's got his own dairy on his farm, but he's also milking from our dairy as well. And he's doing a very good job. He really is. It took a while for my partner to heal. But fortunately, he's fine. Thanks to Tim for saving his life and chasing the attackers were off him. And and that I was also able to send my partner to the right hospital where he was able to come get top medical attention. Otherwise, he would have died. He was very, very badly beaten up, and he had head trauma. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know this is a common situation. For instance, Mike Campbell was beaten severely on his farm in Zimbabwe and suffered severe head trauma, and it also contributed to his death prematurely at the age of 72. Mike Campbell, of course, famously bought his farm after 1980 in Zimbabwe. He was born there, grew up there, and then bought a farm with the approval of Mugabe and his thugocracy. And then they stole the farm and beat him nearly to death and tortured him and his son-in-law. Anyway, so it's just it's just really horrific stuff. What disturbs me is that it's not that difficult to solve these crimes in my estimation. And people say, well, what are you talking about? Well, first off, I'm a law enforcement official. Not at the moment. I'm no longer active duty, but I was a badge-carrying counterintelligence official. And trust me, solving a espionage crime is far more difficult than solving a homicide or a robbery or a theft or something like that. Much easier to solve a crime like that in most circumstances. It just seems to me that there's no desire or effort to resolve these or solve or investigate these crimes properly. I think that's what it is.
Or maybe it's just convenient that the person doesn't get solved, especially in a small community. That it's better for some people that it's all unknown, but I don't know why I had to be blamed for it, and I can't understand why the community believed all the stories that were going around about me. Afterwards, there was a stage when my car had been repossessed. I was penny and I stayed on the farm for 18 months after the attack. And the last was about 10 months before we left. Hello?
Yeah, your connection's getting really bad again, unfortunately. Sorry.
Sorry.
It's all right.
The only way I could get into town, the farm We were about 45 kilometers out of Coxhead, and the only way at one stage to get into town was to catch a taxi, the farm taxi. So I was actually stranded. I couldn't get to town, and then a friend of mine, um, she decided no. She came around once a month. She would come. She would drive from her farm, the other side of Coxhead, all the way to my farm, pick me up, take me to town, and bring me back again. It was like a 200-kilometer round trip for her, which she did once a month. But nobody in my own community came around to see if I was okay, or if I needed to go to town, or if Tim needed to go and see the doctor, or anything like that. So it's terrible when a small community turns against you like that. And this is what happened to me.
You know, it's fascinating what people will believe about other people without any basis for it, either because of some sort of grievance or jealousy or envy or whatever the situation may be. Some people just don't like other people, whatever. And I've seen it my entire life, of course. Most of us have. I've seen situations where like a boss comes in and people just perceive that boss to be a certain way, and they're actually not. I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking watching people who are my boss and people not liking that sort of thing, just for whatever basis. And they're just assuming the worst about somebody, especially for someone that lives amongst you and they've never demonstrated anything like that. Why would people assume that? That's just, especially in South Africa where we know that these farm attacks are taking place. It's not like anybody has to fabricate these things out of thin air. It's just crazy.
Mm. Yeah. But I managed. I survived, got off. I'm still alive. I'm still smiling. And then that painting was a healing process for me because yeah, I was told that I was wasting my time, when I was painting, and I stopped painting for years. So I had a bit of a artist block with that one, but fortunately I pushed through. But what I wanted to say is, no matter how dark things are, you can get through it.
Yeah,
And
no,
there's always an end to the worst. Yeah.
I think you're living proof of that, Erica. Is that however dark days seem, you can get past it, and I think that's something people can take, especially now with the lockdown and the angst and the unemployment and the collapse of business. There's better days ahead. It may not seem like that to people. Some people may seem like they may think that there's no hope, but there's always hope. As long as you have life, there's always hope. And so I think you're a living testament, Erica. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, why don't we do this? Because your connection's not that great tonight. We'll chat on another time, get you back on here. We can go into further detail and maybe do a video on this topic. Erica, thanks a lot. It's great, as always, having you on here. I really appreciate your support on the channel as a moderator, as a commenter, as a contributor. Really do appreciate it. And I'm going to bring Rudy in once you head out, okay?
Okay, sure.
Right.
Okay, I'll press leave here.
Leave the meeting, yep, and then you'll be out, okay? All right, now that's a weird looking picture there. Oh, it's because I've adjusted the boundaries. And here comes Rudy. Rudy's been very patient. There's Rudy. He's back. I don't see his microphone, though. Is your mic on? No, there's no mic. It has camera, but no mic, Rudy. That's strange. Well, Rudy's here, but no microphone. I wonder why. I see you talking, but there's nothing. Okay, now your microphone's there. Do you have it on mute? It doesn't look. Oh, wait, I almost heard you. No, it says there's a microphone now. It says you're not on mute. That's strange. It's like your mic's connected, but it's not feeding out any sound after that long wait. Wow. Well, we can't hear you, man. Hendo says, good talk by Erica. Yeah, it was. Hank says, by Erica. Thank you, Erica. That was awesome for sharing. And Rudy's microphone is still not coming through. Now it's off again. See, I have a little box that tells me when my guest has a microphone, me as well. Anyone in the meeting has a microphone and camera. Shows my camera's active. My microphone is doing this up and down thing. And then Rudy's camera is there and active, but there's no microphone listed. It came up for a moment, then it disappeared, Rudy. So there's no microphone. Strange evening tonight. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the deal is. What's this? Robin says to Hendo. Well, let's see if Rudy can sort something out. Maybe unplug your mic. I don't know if you're on a mobile or on your PC or laptop or whatever. Well, that's frustrating. Rudy's trying to share. He's trying to tell us. Okay, he's going to go out and come back in maybe. All right, so I'll sit up for a moment like this in this really weird looking window we've got going on here. Robin says, it's so bad. I always say that if I was on my own, I would be fine, but raising a child in South Africa is so scary. Yeah, it can be, Robin. I think that's a fair point. It really can be quite scary in South Africa raising a kid, no matter where you're from or who you are. It's a lot of challenges when it comes to raising kids in South Africa and just surviving in South Africa. It's really sad because, folks, for years, people would ask me about South Africa and they'd say, hey, what's it like? And I said, oh, it's an amazing place. Okay, so, all right, I'm going to take he's going to try his laptop again. Be patient. I'm not Yanni. That's fine, Rudy. We're good. Let me fix this all participants thing really quickly, and then I'm going to address something here, and I'm going to take a risk here. Not a major risk. I've got moderators who can deal with this if it's a problem, but I'm going to take a risk here. Okay. All right, let's get up there. There we go. So that's a little bit better. All right, so you guys can see me a little bit better now. Shane is on here, and Shane is asking why I think Shane is a troll. I didn't indicate that Shane was a troll. I'm not sure what Shane is getting at. He'll have to clarify himself, and I have been ignoring Shane's comments, but I'm going to address it now. He says, I don't mean to comment repeatedly, but I need to explain myself. Since you've been patient, very patient, Shane, whomever you are, I'll give you a chance to explain yourself. And so in the chat, you can tell us what you're talking about because I'm not really sure what you're talking about. So anyway, let's see. Morton was telling Winnie, SAP's, not the SAP. SAP was an excellent police force. Yeah, there's a difference. South African police versus South African Police Service is a different organization. It's kind of like comparing SADF, South African Defense Force, to SANDF, the South African National Defense Force. That's the post-New Dispensation South African military versus the previous military. So there is a difference. It's a good point, fair point to make. Let's see what else we got here in the chat. Anybody else got any comments that I should bring up? You guys are still awake, says Corlia. Well, we're up because it's Laizan's birthday. Happy birthday to Laizan again. Chris, Shane says, on Ronaldo's stream, I sent a comment saying HA once, then I sent another one, hi, to say, correct my previous one. Well, the problem, okay, Shane, explain yourself. The problem is that you wrote that comment about me. You said my name equals that. I don't know what you're talking about. You know nothing about me. Obviously, if you think that's the case, you know nothing about me, nothing about my character. So I don't understand what your point was. I don't, on Ronaldo's stream or as I'm a moderator on other channels, when people comment on me as a general rule, I don't address it. I just ignore it because I might overreact or underreact to a comment that somebody makes. Shane is saying Chris White, it was a mistake. Okay, well then if you want to offer apology, I'll accept apology because it's on the screen. I got a screen capture. And I didn't report it as because it was a minor thing. But if you want to apologize, we'll see if you're legitimate here. Give you a chance to apologize. A genuine person would apologize right now if you're genuine, Shane, and then we can go on. I thought you were genuine because someone with this username had been on before and had recent comments, so I don't know where it's coming from. But you have to understand that Goat showed up on that channel and started the same nonsense too with his pandering. Oh, Ronaldo, thank you for your channel. It's so open and discourse and not like other channels where racists block people. Other nonsense. I'll get you the link. Hang on real quick there. Sorry, Rudy. Here comes the link. So the reason I say that is because Goat was being a jerk, and Goat just is a jerk in general. And that's why Goat got booted. And Goat keeps playing games. So Goat came on and did that, and that's utter nonsense. This channel, I'm open to discourse if people want to ask questions. We got the handsome boy comes on here and plays his little games about Louis Farrakhan, and he's selective in his anger because it's fake. Okay, well, Shane, I accept your apology. All right, there you go, Shane. I accept your apology. Thank you very much. So Shane, if you've got since we're chatting now, if you've got a question, a legitimate question, please ask it. I don't know why that would be in there, but I don't know how you make a mistake like that. I don't recall making one like that myself, but I'll accept that maybe it was a mistake. Anyway, it's just I find it entertaining is that people like Handsome Boy don't come on my stream when I have black Africans on my channel whom I interview and then spew his garbage and his bile and his racist bigotry and try to deflect onto me and claim that I'm that sort of person. Never happens when I have a black African on here, or I've had Toyin Usemri, Komi Clue. I've run through the list of just some of the people I've had on here. So you're welcome, Shane. Yeah, Hendo says trolls taking chances just boost him, not his patience, Chris. Yeah, no, Hendo isn't as patient as me, and he's got my full authorization to do it. Hendo early on booted somebody that he had seen chat in the stream that I didn't see, and I just saw a comment that was innocuous, and I responded to someone. They were being a troll, and Hendo did the right thing. And so I brought that person back in. But Hendo was pretty cool about it, accepted it. It's my channel, so it was pretty cool of him. Anyway, so yeah, but of course trolls come on here and they start harassing other viewers and disrupting and polluting the chat, and so we deal with that now. I'm incredibly patient, but the patience is worn thin of late because we have bigots and racists trying to play their games on here and attack me for their shortcomings and their personality flaws, which are not mine. So anyway, I don't treat people differently. It's interesting. The Harvard has this perceived bias test, and all these people run around and go that everyone's bigoted, everyone's prejudiced, everyone's this, that, and the other. Well, most people are in some way or another. But the perceived bias test addresses how people view people who are different and people who are the same. And if you take the perceived bias test, it gives you a reasonably accurate, if not darn near accurate, view of whether you lean to the other or lean to the same or the like and the other. And so I've taken the perceived bias test and I've done it. Yeah, Gus, you're close to being a troll on occasion. No, I'm just kidding. But I've taken that test twice over a period of 2 decades, and I come out neutral each time. I took it the second time wondering maybe if my views of how I treat other people and how I perceive other people have changed. And no, it's neutral. So I see a white person, I see a black person, I treat them the same. I see a Hispanic person, I see this person. I don't judge them implicitly or automatically. And that's based on what Harvard says, not simply my claim. I've taken the test twice. Yeah, so anyway, but it's interesting. It's funny to see people attack me and claim this, that, and the other about me when they know nothing about me. They don't know the deeds that I've been involved in or how I've done things, but whatever. It's just really funny. I don't see that sort of behavior going on elsewhere. So it's funny to see Goat go over there and make those funny complaints because Ronaldo himself bans people from his channel like that. When you come on with your racist nonsense, he bans people. Now, if I see racist stuff, we take people out. And but anyway, it's just I'm not going to go on about that. But anyway, so thanks. I'm not sure where we got off on the wrong foot there, Shane, on that stream. But I mean, why you typed that, I don't know. But I'll accept your apology. Thank you. It's very man or woman of you to put that up. Anyway, but Tion says we just come on here to see the all caps and the trolls being kicked. Oh, Viking Boar came here from Loving Life. Well, okay, cool. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you. I didn't realize you came there from Loving Life, Viking Boar. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so it looks like Rudy's not going to get back. He's really working on his laptop there pretty hard. Hopefully it'll come up for him. He's having some challenges. Yeah, Corley says Hendo's telling Corley that people come here for pleasant time and get informed, educated, not childish grief. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Grant, good to see you. Okay, gotcha, Shane. All right. Anyway, well, yeah. So, cool beans. See, I give people a chance. I'm very patient. We'll see. We'll see if I pay for that. I was patient with Goat. Goat came on. He acted the fool, and he got deleted. And I saw one of the questions. I brought him back, and I lost a moderator who disappeared from my channel and canceled a subscription. It cost me money. Not much money, but it cost me money on the channel because I overruled that moderator. Yeah. To bring a guest back in, and they get accused by people like Goat that we're not open to discussion. No, you're just an ass. That's what happens, friends. Andrew says, Erica, born, bred in farm area, Eastern Cape, went to Dale College, was at Amatola Command to Protect Farmers, Queenstown area. Oh, cool. Quentin's got to go to bed. Well, yeah, it's really late, Quentin. This was just kind of a bonus stream that I did because we had a stream on earlier and people wanted to talk about farm attacks. Erica kindly came on and shared her experience with a farm attack, which was horrific. Fortunately, no fatalities, although it was close. So glad she survived that. Gus says, I think Ronaldo covers for his job as a counselor and therefore must explicitly make an effort not to allow certain taboo comments and messages. Yeah, well, we have the ability on YouTube to block certain phrases, and some of those are blocked on here. But people trying to get cute and clever and play with their usernames and put periods and spaces and characters in there so you can still read it. But anyway, whatever. Yeah, so I'm glad that you came over from Loving Life, Viking Boar. It's interesting. Yeah, by the way, folks, I did I did put a video up earlier today, and I talked about the sports, arts, and culture minister there in South Africa, and his take on the situation with why it's a situation. South African rugby players playing for a private club in a private league for a private employer abroad. Only 2 of them are Springboks. The rest of them aren't Springboks, although Oosthuizen used to be a Springbok, but they're not Springboks. So why he's sticking his nose into that business and complaining that they did not take a knee and bow in fealty to a movement that is from the United States and is involved in thugocracy and is on the verge of being declared a domestic terrorist organization. Yet the Minister of Sport in South Africa seems it would be appropriate for South African athletes who live abroad in a country not related to the United States to take a knee in support of that, and then call them racist attitude and racist behavior when they wore shirts specifically against racism. So I don't know where this clown is coming from or what planet he lives on, but that's really not the truth. Of course, the sports minister was not too concerned about the 34 striking minors who were killed by his police service when he was in charge of it in 2012, on the 16th of August, 2012. He has nothing to say about that. Oh, he did on the 17th of August when he told the police force to close ranks and shut their mouths and not tell anyone what happened. So he did have a voice then. But he also famously, when Black Lives Matter was organized and became a movement in 2013, didn't say a word about this. We hear nothing about this. And then from 2016, when Colin Kaepernick started this, bow to the supremacy of this movement in 2016 until today, until June of this year, he had nothing to say about this. Nothing to say about this at all. But they have kowtowed the cricket players into this foolishness, and now he seeks to kowtow the rugby players. But that's not really what he's up to, ladies and gentlemen. What he's up to is twofold. The minister has 2 plans here. The first plan he's focused on is he's trying to distract from poor governance, from the National Coronavirus Command Council. That's what he's trying to do. I'll take that earpiece out since nobody's called in. So he's trying to detract from that. That's the first thing, so that we don't pay attention to the failures and to the job losses, the loss of business, the destruction of livelihoods, the suicides, the spousal abuse, the incest, the rapes, all of these things that have taken place as a consequence of this ludicrous lockdown situation in South Africa. Now that the ANC has been forced by public opinion and growing Black African opinion against their behavior to finally ease up on the lockdown for now. So they're distracting from that so that people don't talk about that situation anymore. And the second reason he's doing it is because, quite frankly, I believe, this is my views, this is an opinion, not a stated fact, I believe that his goal is to damage the reputations of players like Faf de Klerk and others so that the South African Rugby Union will be pressured into not letting them be on the team, and that they'll be forced to bring other players on the team, and they'll ensure that they're not white. Whether they're talented or qualified or not won't be germane. Now, there are other players out there, probably, but obviously the best scrum half in this World Cup was Faf de Klerk, hands down. Anyway, the point is that they're trying to damage it so they can achieve their ludicrous race-based goals through other means. And this is the other means, also in distracting attention. So that's what's going on with that, and it's really sad. I don't hear that sports minister ever complaining about Julius Malema and his behavior. Charmaine says, okay, so I missed this. Charmaine says, so what's going to happen with farm raiders? Sorry, I'll get off that topic and get back to the chat here since Charmaine asked. What time did she ask that? That was 6:34. Sorry, I'm bouncing between devices here to make sure I get the right thing. 6:34. Let me catch up on the chat. 6:34. Is that 2 trolls on the shelf behind you, says Gus. It is. It is. There are 2 trolls behind me on the shelf, and they're both from Norway, ladies and gentlemen. You know, in Norway, trolls are a big thing. They're huge. They love trolls in Norway. So that's what you see behind me, folks, is 2 trolls from Norway on my trip there, my first trip there back in 1992, I think it was. There you go. 2 trolls. There you go. Check it out. Those are trolls. Those are actual trolls. That's why I put them up there. They bear no relation to people misbehave in the chat or on the channel. There you go. So, Charmaine Yonk says, Cyril and Zuma trolls. Yeah, Gus, you said that before, I think, or somebody did. Tian says, Chris, it is great that you still get upset about SA Sport. Most of us become blunted to their crap and choose to battles for sanity's sake. I appreciate that. They're so ugly, they're cute. They are. That's why the Norwegians love them. There's also a whole mythology that goes around them in storytelling. But Charmaine says, what's going to happen with farm murders and farm attacks? Well, I think that unless the ANC is unseated, that they'll continue apace and they'll keep driving people off of farms. Farm production will decline. They won't have to expropriate farms. They'll just simply occupy it. They, being the ANC, will simply occupy farmland, and they'll destroy South Africa's agricultural sector and 5 centuries of history, just like that. Just like that. I think that's what will happen. It's kind of sad to say, but when you go from 68,000, now part of this is mechanization and consolidation. So some of it was a natural consequence of agricultural development from 1994 to today that would reduce the number of commercial farmers, but it's not entirely that. A large number of people have been chased off the land, which is the objective of some folks. It's really horrific when you find yourself in these circumstances, what you're going to do. To defend yourself, to protect yourself, particularly against people who come with cell phone jammers, body armor, newly issued 9mm weapons, newer than my weapon in the U.S. Army. You can see this on closed circuit television cameras as they prepare to invade farms. They come with wire cutters. They shut down electric fences. They have plans. They're organized. These aren't all just, 5 guys had a few too many bottles of chibuku and they go out and murder people out of revenge or to try to rob a few rand off someone. No, there's a whole series of these different attacks. I mean, seriously, what is the point of even murdering somebody on a farm if you've robbed them when you know full well that you're not going to be prosecuted? I mean, look at the case of Erica's farm. Who was arrested? They know who did it. No one's been arrested. And we can play the story out over and over again. And in the few places where people are actually arrested because the cops don't have a choice, how many are prosecuted? How many are prosecuted? None. And ladies and gentlemen, it's not simply, a farmer. It's usually the farmer, the farmer's wife, their children. We've seen horrific things happen on farms in which children have been boiled or boiling water poured on them. Minor girls raped, men raped, penises cut off, breasts cut off. What is that? That's not a farm attack. That's terrorism. And it's time that the government of South Africa addressed what's going on in the rural farm areas as terrorism. It's domestic terrorism. That's what it is. Yes, Winnie, it does happen in towns, but okay, someone's always going back and forth. We're not talking about that, though. We're not talking about crime in general. I've talked about crime in general. I've talked about farms. You guys wanted me to come back on tonight to talk about farms, and so we're talking about farms. And again, I don't just talk about farms. I talk about rural insecurity. It happens everywhere. Yes, it does happen in farm. It does happen in towns. Crime is abysmal in South Africa. Absolutely horrific. People break into homes, steal. Now, and the difference in farms is we have lots of evidence of farmers. Look at the Brunt family in the Northern Cape. Nothing stolen. 83-year-old father, 73-year-old mother, butchered, drugged from the home with their 50-some-year-old daughter who's sexually assaulted and left half naked in a field, murdered, all 3 of them. I haven't got confirmation of this, but I read that breasts were cut off the woman. I don't know if that's true, but I saw 2 reports, but I don't know how accurate they are. Whatever the case, they were murdered. What was stolen from the home? The phones? No. Money? No. Television? No. Nothing was taken from the home that they were drug out of to their deaths. They were simply murdered in an act of terrorism. And the terrorists went home. They stole their cars and went home. Now, why would you take the cars when it's going to be obvious that it's not your car? People aren't that stupid. You have to wonder, did they do this with the encouragement of someone in authority somewhere, either a politician or someone in the police? You have to ask that question. Because how stupid could people be to murder and then take the vehicle with the registration plates on it so that you can be tracked down? They took the vehicles with the registration plates and drove home from the scene of the murders and then went to bed. The police actually went out and arrested them because people kept harassing the police to do their damn job. And nothing was stolen. It's not a robbery. And it proves false the narrative that Cyril Ramaphosa once put out there that there are no farm murders. Absolutely true, there are farm murders. Unfortunately for the daughter in her 50s who went to visit her parents on that weekend, she was caught up in it. Now, we don't know if that's why they did the attack then. They want to get a bunch of them. Laizan says, crime in general is horrible, but the violence and most of the farm murders are at another level. They are. They're vile, and they're intentionally terroristic. We just saw the one last week in which the farmer was assaulted and his 11 and 15-year-old daughter were gang raped. Scarred for life, damaged forever. For what? We know rape is a crime of violence. So when you rape an 11-year-old, you mean nothing but hatred and harm. Why aren't these crimes resolved? Why aren't they solved? At some point, you have to ask, what about the collusion of the state? What about the collusion of the criminal justice system? And it's not just the farm attacks, as was mentioned by Winnie. It's also murders in South Africa. Why aren't more murders resolved in South Africa? Why are South African SAP's forensics so inept at what they do? Are they inept? Or are they just callous and uncaring? You have to ask that question. Why hasn't South Africa's police service reached out to Interpol or reached out to professional police forces in other parts of the world who are good at forensics and have forensic capability? Why do they not reach out to prosecutors in other countries where countries actually prosecute people for violent crime? In case preparation, witness rehearsal, case execution. Why doesn't this happen? You have to wonder. You have to wonder at some point. Okay, let me catch up with the chat comments here. Anne-Marie Forster, I shared Germ's video on this and in my opinion got a racist comment. With whom, Anne-Marie? With us or with someone else? You got treated that way here? My apologies if you were, but I don't recall that. Viking says, what's your line of information because your knowledge of what's happening today is mind-blowing. Thanks. I'm glad I subscribed. Well, Viking Bore, it's a lot of things. It's personal experience. It's also that I was an intelligence officer in the U.S. military for decades. And it's also, not that I share any classified information here, I don't do that, but it's also personal contacts in South Africa, as well as the media, the press, and reporting. No, it's also being an analyst, being an intelligence analyst who studies events, and a historian, a political scientist who writes analysis, a published author, all of these things. So when I write things, if I tell you, if it's not factual and I don't have evidentiary support for it, then I tell you that. If it's supposition analysis, I tell you that. For instance, earlier on the stream, sorry, I started getting fast there, Viking Boar, but earlier on the stream that I had with Miranda and Cullen, I gave an opinion, and I made it clear that this was simply my opinion. I didn't have evidence to support it, just a multitude of data sets and my experience and my ability to analyze things, and my supposition was this. So for instance, I'm talking specifically about the fact that I think that this concept that the insurgency in northern Mozambique is a religious affair, I don't agree with that, and I gave the basis for that. But I have no evidence. I'm not sitting in meetings with the insurgents and getting their motivations and reading their manifesto about what they're doing. No, I don't have that. Now, whereas Black Lives Matter, I do have evidence. I go to their website, and their vile positions are right there for the world to see. They're against marriage. They seek to undermine the institution of marriage and seek the proliferation of illegitimacy and single parenthood. That's what they say. They don't say single parenthood, but by definition, that's what they want. They seek the removal of Christ from the church. Well, then what's the point of the church if you take Christ out of it, if you're a Christian? They seek supremacy, one race more important than another. When we see groups like the Ku Klux Klan who call for racial supremacy, we treat them as vile organizations, and we castigate and we ostracize them. Why is Black Lives Matter being embraced by corporations and their callow human resource departments and their public relations departments? Why is the sportsman of South Africa attacking South Africans for not supporting a racial supremacy organization? Why? Because they're afraid to call it a racial supremacy organization, which is what it is. It's what it is. But that's where my knowledge base comes from, Viking Boar, and a few other things which I can't share. I can't share everything publicly. So I think that's a pretty fair explanation of how I come to where I'm at. I don't understand, Emery. Let me catch up and see if you explain what you were talking about. With city invasions, Rudy says they're scared of a reaction company. On a farm, they have time. That's right. That's right. And that's a big difference. That's a huge difference. When people break into farmhouses in rural KZN on the side of a ridge line, they're a few kilometers from another farmhouse. And what they do there, no one can hear the screams. They have all the time they want as long as the hours of darkness are there, and they can come and go and they can do the horrific things they want. When you break into a home in an urban center, where there's reaction forces from security companies, private security companies, and or the police potentially, the amount of time you have to terrorize and torture is limited in most cases, in many cases. You have security companies in places like Pretoria that can respond to a home break-in, home invasion within less than 45 seconds, depending on where you are. They have armed patrols in neighborhoods because they have the money and resources to do it from their clients. and they respond. Some of these response companies have helicopters and armored vehicles, and they respond in force. And thieves and terrorists know this, and so they don't have the kind of time they have in a rural area where the police are 30 kilometers away, and they have no response time. So people who form self-defense units to patrol and protect themselves stand a better chance of surviving, but it's not a foolproof system. Anyway, so that's a little bit about that. In the old days, Morton says, they waited for you to go out and then break in your house. Today, they wait for you to get into home before striking and torture you for hours, even days. That's a big difference. That is a big difference. You're right about that, Morton. And it was like that in Botswana. In Botswana, it used to be, and this is no kidding, you talk to people in Botswana who had home invasions, right, break-ins. Back in the day, 12, 15 years ago, up until then, anytime someone would break into your home saying Habaroni, and you wake up, the thieves would say, shh, go back to sleep. And you didn't move, and they didn't murder you. They just took your things. And then you called the police and reported it stolen. But that began to change within the last decade. And now we have people breaking into homes in Habaroni and they murder people. Are they the criminals from South Africa? I don't know. Are they the Botswana criminals? I don't know. But now you see attempted murders, violent assaults, rapes taking place when people break into home invasions in Botswana, which you didn't see before. It was never that way. Never that way. And that has changed. Why does that change? Because of tolerance. When law enforcement and officials do nothing to stop that, this is what happens. Rudy says there are many farmers who are asleep at the same time. It's also impossible to control people on your land. Farm attacks also poses buyers. Yeah, they pose lots of things. Absolutely true. Yep. Oh, on Facebook, Anna Marie says. Okay. Oh, someone called because you. Okay, thank you, Anna Marie. Anna Marie, you posted a link to a video for Germ on your Facebook, and you were called a racist. Is that what happened? Yeah, Facebook is another toxic place. Gus says, if robbers force me to access my bank account, they'll feel sorry. They'll give you some money. No, they'll probably kill you too, just for the sake of it. Do you think the LPG are the resource in northern Mozambique has influence in the fighting? No, Tian. I think that it will exacerbate the situation when people see resources being pulled out, but it's offshore. So, I mean, very few people actually see it. They just see people driving around their areas who are living onshore in nice places and vehicles and nice cars and being able to go to restaurants. And they might be envious of that or go, where's all this money coming from? But they're not really seeing the oil or the natural gas because it's offshore. So I don't know that it really has an impact. I think it's just another factor in how things are playing out now. Good question. Thank you for that question. So let's see. Saw one farmer who has a lion as a guard dog at night. Well, that's one way to do it. Hendo says, like Goodyear tires, left-wing media moaned today at the press secretary today. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Rudy says, security on farms must go back to the Rhodesia model. Hand grenade screens and proper security years. How do people get caught in bed by attackers? Yeah, it's a good question how especially after all the horrific murders we've seen, somewhere between 1,800 and 3,300, depending how they're categorized and who you look at and what stats on these farm assaults and murders, how people can still be at this point be in farms that don't have multiple layers of security and how it's overcome by these folks. Now, and that's not a criticism. Each case is individual. Each situation is separate. But we see situations like the reenactment video that Alpha Forum recently did for the farmer, his wife, and their toddler that were butchered and murdered by these thugs on the farm back in 2012. That in that case, it didn't matter because they bum rushed them outside their home, so they weren't even in the home. And then they hacked him with a panga and cutting and severing his tendons so he couldn't even lift his arms up. And then they hacked him to death and beat him to death. And then they took the toddler who was crying off to the bush and shot it in the head and left this child there and then raped and murdered the wife and stole just a handful of, it's just, it's just the fact that the world doesn't pay attention to this is vile and disgusting. Right, you got racist comments on what you shared. Well, if you can delete them and report the people to Facebook, if that matters. I don't know if they do. Viking Boris said, I appreciate it. What strikes me is that you're focused on the topics on hand and walk with, I don't know what to walk with. There's not something there. Use a threaded rod. Yeah, there's lots of solutions, folks. Get in, they will. The answer lies in multiple layers of security. It's important for them to escape quickly, make it look very difficult. Exactly. Botswana has a death penalty. That deters all but the most ardent of criminals. I think that's a relatively fair statement, Morton. I think it's a relatively fair statement. Rudy says, my mate caught an attacker and bumped him with a baki in the feld. The reversing got him a suspended sentence and cost a lot of money. So learn to shoot and kill the first time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you will become guilty of a crime when you're defending yourself. Stand your ground is not something that the ANC likes. They prefer that you die a horrific death rather than defend yourself. Piss on the ANC. Defend yourself. And what needs to happen is civil rights organizations like AfroForum need to, just like in the States, we have associations for gun owners in which what they do is you can buy insurance so that if you use your gun defending yourself, you get defense. You get attorneys who will defend you so that you can have a chance to survive horrific abuse by the state when they try to come after you for lawfully using a firearm to defend yourself, protect your family and your property. So we have organizations like that in the States that have insurance for that sort of thing, so you can get representation, and that's what needs to happen in South Africa. And that may exist, it may not. I don't know. Maybe we could ask Paratus about that. He might know, but that's a critically important thing. Anna Marie says, when I joined the stream just now, you were talking so that I did not want to joke, but I can't resist. Emery has arrived. It's fine, Emery. It's fine. We've been back and forth. This is a late stream, a very late stream, which we hadn't intended. But by the way, folks, tomorrow is only a handful of us here. It's under 30 at this point. But tomorrow, this truly is the Night Owl version of Night Owl. This is the latest we've done a stream in a while. So tomorrow, Unati Kwaza will be back on the channel. We'll be talking to her about the lockdown level 2 and things like that, what's going on in the Western Cape. And that'll be the early stream. And then our very own Brett Sessoms will join us to talk to us what his fascination with Africa is on the Night Owl edition. So we won't have a Night Owl. Or maybe we'll do something like this again tomorrow. I might have another session. We'll see. But 2 guests tomorrow. None for Friday at the moment. But on Saturday, I have Des Palm, who is from Cape Exit. And we'll be talking about Cape Independence in South Africa. I'm hoping we get some more subscribers. Anne Marie says, you're telling me it's almost 1 a.m. South. That's what I'm referring to. It's not late for me. It's just about 7, and I haven't eaten yet, but I will eat when we get off here. We have to do that. You're a part of a proper gun. Oh, you have to do that. Okay, so they provide insurance. Then people should get proper representation. Rudy says, the second time his Malawian staff caught another attacker, he had a conversation with the attacker, then handed him to the cops. Nothing came from that. Well done. By the way, folks, anyone ever have Malawians work for him? Most Malawians I know, and I used to live and work there, are pleasant people. Obviously, there are exceptions, but they're pleasant people. They work hard, and they're very cooperative. Yeah. Rudy says, be vigilant. Yep. Granth is out of here. He's out of here. Talk to Mark Oppenheimer about Cape Exit. He's a legal expert, and other guys aren't. I don't have a contact for Mark Oppenheimer, so we'll have to get into that. That's, I think, the second or third time someone suggested Mark Oppenheimer. I've seen him on other programs, but he's never been a guest on my program. So maybe we'll get around to that. We're working on that. Also coming up later in the month, I have a guest. A guest coming on who's a public relations specialist. She has a public relations firm in South Africa, Mimi Kalinda. And I'll be coordinating that. That'll be on the 27th of August, I think it is. And we will be talking about changing the narrative on Africa. This is not about South Africa specifically, so something different. Don't mess with an old parabat. Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go. Absolutely true. Another reason why farmers are often attacked is a lot of farmers are elderly. They're elderly, and youth leave the farms. So elderly farmers find themselves vulnerable too. You're not as agile and nimble and as strong as you once were because age catches up with you, and it makes you more susceptible and puts you in more jeopardy. So that's an important consideration too when it comes to rural security and farms. Yep. Anyway, so gosh, folks, we're coming up on nearly 2 hours. Wow. Malawi and Zambia as a whole are the nicest people in Africa generally, says Morton. I don't know if they're the nicest people, but they really are nice people. I mean, I really like Malawi. It's called the warm heart of Africa, and I think that's a fair nickname for Malawi. It's wonderful. It's a shame that people live in such poverty there, and because that's a country where you can just drop anything in the soil and it'll grow. It seems, although they do need fertilizer because the soil it's interesting. I think the climate's just suitable for so many different things there. I've seen sable farms there. The little animals for the pelts. They've got sable farms in Malawi. And I've seen every crop I can imagine growing in the drive from Blantyre to Zomba, everything under the sun, rice, maize, beans, just anything you think of is just amazing. Fascinating place. Blantyre, of course, is a commercial center of Malawi in the southern third of the country, right there, dead center geographically. And Blantyre has Carlsberg Brewery, and the only one in Africa, and also has the Rials Hotel, which is a historic and famous hotel located there, one of the oldest hotels in the region. It's part of the Protea chain now, which of course is part of Marriott, so I guess it's American now. And you go from Blantyre, the commercial center, drive north, you go to Zomba, heading towards Lake Malawi or Lake Nyasa if you're Tanzanian. And Zomba has got this huge mountain next to it. You go up the mountain, and it's almost like a different ecological zone. The environment's very different up there. The weather is completely different than down below in Zomba. And then from Zomba, you continue up and you get to Monkey Bay, and that's in the southern shore of the lake. There's a Malawian naval base in Monkey Bay, and some fishermen there, and it's also a ferry stop, picking up passengers to cross the lake and go around the lake. And that's Monkey Bay. There you go. So Lake Malawi, interesting, and Malawi, quite an interesting place to go. Laizan says, Facebook do not care about racism directed at whites. Saw a post the other day where someone reported a comment stating that he wishes that all whites could be killed. And yeah, exactly. Facebook. Shameful, disgraceful. All the tech titans. Yep, the tech titans, absolutely. Absolutely. And until others come up with alternative media to overcome this nonsense, we have to face this nonsense. It's interesting. On Parler, which is considered a conservative site, and they are more open to free speech. It's interesting because on Parler, someone commented on Trump potentially pardoning Snowden, and I commented on there. Now, of course, I come from a position of kind of knowledge about what's going on with Snowden. I mean, I was in the intelligence community, possessed the right clearances, have experience in all the agencies we're talking about here, and know what the issue was. Yet on there, I said that Trump, he should not pardon him because the guy's a traitor. He's got many people killed, and his actions are unconscionable, and they were self-important, arrogant, egotistical, self-loving behavior, and he should not have his ego stroked and his crimes be absolved with a pardon because people died as a consequence. Well, I got response on Parler where people upvote or downvote something. Obviously, down is you don't like it. So I got dislikes with downvotes, a whole bunch of them. It was the most activity I'd seen in my Parler account in a while, and people coming back and saying, well, he's this, that, and the other, and you don't know what you're talking about. I don't. I think I know a lot more than you sitting in your underwear in your freaking lawn chair on your apartment house somewhere. You don't know jack about what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about full well. And a lot of people just did, because I had the temerity to say that if Trump pardons Snowden, he risked my vote. So I got attacked by you've got the rabid leftist, you got the rabid rightist, and the rabid rightist going, oh, how dare. So you would not vote for Trump and let the socialists take over? I said he risked my vote. I'm trying to send a message to Trump and his supporters that you do not pardon Edward Snowden. That's an even worse, shameful pardon than what they did with Bergdahl, who directly caused the deaths of many American soldiers who went looking for him when in fact he was a traitor and went to the opposite side. And then our soldiers got murdered hunting, trying to find him. Bergdahl should be in prison the rest of his life. Should be walking the streets a free person. And while we're at it, let's talk about that little clown Bradley Manning, or Chelsea Manning, whatever name the person's going by these days. That little clown ought to be in prison for the rest of his or her life. Absolutely right. Morton says, not a member there, Rudy. My UNITA buddy claims that South Africans have not suffered enough and are blind to the mistakes of the regime. The honeymoon is nearing its end. What? Morton says, what's Facebook? That's good. That and stealing your data. Yeah, there you go. Oh, you're not a member of Facebook. How long will you still stream? I might have missed it, but wow, Ramaphosa's on this. I don't know what Ramaphosa said. I missed it. And there's Cobus. Wow, people are popping in now. That's odd. Probably just a few more minutes, Anne-Marie. I mean, this is my third stream of the day, and this was just supposed to be a 30-minute thing to answer questions on farm murders. So that's what this was supposed to be. Anyway, yeah, not much longer, but I'll be on tomorrow. I have 2 guests on tomorrow, but maybe I'll do a stream after that. Yeah, so what else we got here? So, yep. Anyway, Ramaphosa. I'm not sure what Ramaphosa said, so I missed that because I've been online. I did a stream earlier today. Was on for a couple of hours or an hour, well, about an hour and a half on the hour 15 minutes, and then I did an hour and a half, and now I've been on for 2 hours. So yeah, almost 2 hours. Rudy says, reference South African dictators not experienced a real African dictatorship. South Africans, yeah, no, they've not experienced a real dictatorship. It's getting late, people. Tomorrow's another day, says Hendo. Yep, even in the UK, it's getting late. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much for your patronage and for tuning into this special bonus late Night Owl stream. Morton says, Chris, Rudy means blacks north of us claim our blacks have been spoiled and have never suffered. A claim I, too, have often heard. Yeah, no. I get your point there. But suffering's a matter of perspective. People suffer in many different ways, so I get the point. Yeah, well, South Africans never had to deal with a civil war, except for the ANC civil war in KwaZulu-Natal, the so-called People's War. But they never dealt with a civil war between governmental entities. That's not happened. You're not seeing the government fight an insurrection against. That never happened. MK was feckless. They accomplished very little in their terrorism. They resorted to terrorism, but that's not a civil war. That's terrorism. They paint it today as a civil war, and they did great and wondrous things to end apartheid, but that's simply not the case. What the hell? Well, that's strange. That was strange. I'm still here. Sorry about that, folks. I thought I went away there. It dropped me off. Come on. Now I've got to stop this thing. Anyway. Oh, God bless it. Camera not available. Okay, I'm trying to close this software. There we go. I don't know why my picture just got so small and what happened to it, but that is interesting. So anyway, yeah. So wow, that was strange. Am I back now? Oh, I know why. It's not full screen. Okay, there we go. Full screen. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. All right, now we're back. Okay, let's do this here so we look that way. There we go. Anyway, no, it's not Gremlins, Karen. It's Zoom. It said my meeting wasn't active for 40 minutes. I guess that's because only I'm transmitting and somebody hasn't been on the channel for 40 minutes. That's why I don't like using Zoom unless I'm interviewing somebody. So there you go. Yeah. Youngsters cry for war. They have no idea. No, they don't. Those who never served in conflict or combat don't know what they're talking about. Those who run around, open their mouths, and attack police and city streets in like Portland and act like they're some kind of warrior when they're just social justice warrior nonsense, they don't know what real conflict and suffering is. Those of us who served in combat know what a horrific situation it is and what harm it brings to everyone involved, both physical, mental, short, and long term. And no thanks. Brett's still here. I didn't even hear Brett. Do you think that Portugal could have prevented a Mozambique civil war? I think it's an interesting question, but I don't think that Portugal gave a flip. So it's a moot question, Brett, because they didn't care. They abandoned their colonies in Africa with great haste as they fled back to the metropole. And they did so because the government had been overthrown. The military had overthrown the government and in a revolution, and they didn't want to be involved. And the precipitating factor for the revolution was in large measure the conflict that was taking place in Angola and Mozambique. And so I don't know if they could have prevented a civil war. It comes back to the question that Miranda and Colin were talking about earlier is what do you believe? Do you believe that the Renamo was a local creation or it was totally fabricated by the South African government? I'm not convinced it was entirely fabricated by the South African government, although they certainly supported and assisted it, but there's two different views on that, and only a handful of people actually know the truth. So I don't know that Portugal could have prevented a civil war. I really don't know that they could have. But they certainly had no interest in preventing one, and they certainly made no effort to prevent one, and they left town as quickly as they could. In fact, in Mozambique, we didn't really talk about this, but a lot of the Portuguese in Mozambique ripped things up. They destroyed furniture, they ripped up pipes, they pulled down power lines. It was kind of, the Carnation Rebellion. It was kind of a spiteful thing in some respects by a lot of Portuguese when they left Mozambique. But the numbers of Portuguese in Mozambique were very different. It was about 250,000 Portuguese in Mozambique, whereas in Angola it was over 800,000 Portuguese in a population of 8 million. Well, about 1 in 10 people. And there was a mixed race population, I don't know, it was about 60, 100,000 there. So the Portuguese in Angola, a fair portion of them fled south. Many went to Rhodesia. Most went to South Africa. And so you still see this today. In Botswana, one of the best little restaurants and cafes around is run by a South African, Afrikaans-speaking South African, but he's ethnic Portuguese. And his wife is an Afrikaans speaker, and his family must have left Angola at some point. They went to South Africa, and then he came to Botswana and put a cafe in place, a wonderful cafe, and they had fantastic service there, great little cafe. And yeah, they live in Botswana now, but he's ethnic Portuguese. There you go. YouTube, please stop this. You do the same email, huh? I don't know what that is. Brett is asking the question. Oh yeah, Tian saying, and seeing the aftermath once troops leave. Yeah, it's just a mess. Why can't Malawi become prosperous, heavy on law and order and low on corruption? You said low on corruption, but Mutharika was very corrupt, and now his successor Lazarus is investigating the corruption of the Mutharika regime. This one, not the previous one. So the reason Malawi can't become prosperous is because it doesn't have much in the way of human capital. So far as the fourth or fifth generation, whatever it is, fourth industrial revolution we're talking about, there's not much there. And they rely on commodities for much of their wealth generation. And commodities are fickle. They rise, they boom and bust. So you can't be a commodity-dependent economy and achieve great heights most of the time, in most cases. Also, it's densely populated, although that could be an advantage. You know, dense population, you can have a good consumer base. Malawi has, 16, 18 million people, something like that, in a very small space. It's the most densely populated country in mainland Africa. Absolutely true. So also the problem is the soils aren't that great. Although you can grow anything, you have to provide fertilizer for it, and then it'll grow. The climate is suitable, but the soils aren't necessarily suitable. So most Malawians can't afford fertilizer. There was a fertilizer subsidy program over a decade ago. It was successful, and then when the government didn't have money to buy fertilizer, the agricultural sector collapsed because farmers didn't save and invest, didn't have enough resources to do it, and they didn't have the fertilizer, and that's what happened. Yep. Rudy says, I suspect Malawi Indians run commerce. Not to my knowledge. I don't know any Indians in Malawi. I'm sure there's some there, but I never met any. I've met them everywhere else in Botswana. I've met them all over the place. Liberia Indians, but I didn't meet any in Malawi. I'm sure there's some there. I replied to that comment with a link on the pregnant woman you referred to. Oh, that's the Indian woman. They said racist because it mentioned an Indian woman had been murdered. Interesting. Malawians, peace-loving nation. My staff told me they don't depend on government. They take care of themselves. Yeah, well, that's true, except for the fertilizer subsidy program. People were all on board with that. They're happy to get the fertilizer free. And then when the government couldn't provide it anymore, the agricultural sector collapsed briefly. Yep. Right. Chris, what's your opinion on white privilege? I have a friend here that wants to hear. Okay. Well, I talked a lot about that issue yesterday on my stream, and I've also talked about it on in response channels on Ronaldo's stream. I think it's horse manure. I think that it's a racist statement in and of itself that describes something as white privilege. I think that what we're talking about here is not privilege, but advantage. People have advantages, but it's not restricted to white people, and to make that nonsense is just nonsense. You know, and listening to Bianca van Wyk try to explain it on Ronaldo's channel, claiming that white privilege is things like, well, when you go to Pick and Pay, all the shampoos have white faces. Well, gee, I wonder why that is. I'm going to guess that about 70% of the customers in most Pick and Pays are white folks. And so you tailor consumer products to your purchasing base, right? Right? Yes. So when she says nonsense like that, I ask her the question, have you been to a spaza or to a tuck shop? Have you been to an informal trader in a township or in a countryside and bought things from them? Go check out the products there. You'll find. Have you ever heard of the brand Dark and Lovely? Bianca van Wyk and all these people with their white privilege, defining it as not seeing any people of color on there. And then she has her condescending nonsense that, you know, you must be quiet. You must listen to black voices. So I must be silent so that I have to listen to other people. No one gets to listen to what I have to say. Now that comes from a position of arrogance and privilege of her own. She has privilege. It's not white privilege. It's privilege that she has based on her station in life. As do the children of Tokyo Sakswale, who have grown up fabulously wealthy, mixed race kids, the children, the offspring of Tokyo and his Afrikaans-speaking wife. And they've grown up in the lap of luxury with untold riches at their disposal. The family of Jacob Zuma, who has access through state capture and other things, they're all seem to be fabulously wealthy now, as are the family of Cyril Ramaphosa, who got their wealth from being handed steaks and things. So I don't buy into this white privilege narrative nonsense. It's BS, and it's caustic, and it's pathetic, and it's racist on its basis. It's just racist on its basis. Now, as I said earlier in my stream, and I talked about this, if you think the right privilege is people giving you deference, well, then perhaps you should talk to people who give people deference. You shouldn't give anybody deference simply because of their appearance. That's asinine. And that's your fault. That's not my fault. I used to go to Africa 20 years ago, and in South Africa and in countries around South Africa, people would look at me, people of color, and go, boss, boss, to which I was very uncomfortable with. I didn't appreciate that. Didn't like that. Being obsequious. I didn't ask you to be obsequious. I didn't create that, and I demanded you stop it. And in West Africa, chef, 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 patron, 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 all the time. Knock it off. Either you're trying to get something for me and it's disingenuous, or you honestly believe that you're inferior to me and you're not. So stop acting like you are. And that's been my approach for all these years. Anna Marie says, before I depart, just want to know Alfred Adrian is planning a Christmas show, so I'm hopeful that we'll still see him on your channel. Okay, I'm off. Can you smell me? I can't smell you. Is there any hope for Liberia, Brett? Yeah, there's hope for Liberia, but not with the current president. This guy has no idea what he's doing. He's in over his head. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was accused of a lot of things, but she was competent in what she was doing, and I know her personally, so I mean, interest of full disclosure, but that doesn't mean I would cover up for shortcomings in that government. There were shortcomings, including some corruption, but she was a good head of state for what she did. I think there is hope for Liberia, but the problem is that you have to produce something other than babies. You can't. Your claim to fame can't be that you just reproduce. That can't be your success. You have to actually produce something of value added for the world marketplace and for your domestic marketplace. If you don't do that, then you can't go anywhere. You just tread water or you sink. Robin says, I speak better Afrikaans than she does. Thank you, Robin. Viking Boar says, I have a beautiful accent. Try again to speak a little Afrikaans. You want me to speak Afrikaans? Okay, let me do this then. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Find this. I'll do this. Let's see if how I do on this, okay? Delant. Here we go. All right, let me see. I'm going to try this. Okay, let's see how it goes. You guys ready? Okay, so here we go. I'm going to try some Afrikaans. Okay. Does Liberia have any tourism? Brett, they do have some tourism. They used to have much more tourism. Liberia used to be the tourist destination in West Africa for expatriates from all over embassies and businesses in Nigeria, in Benin, in Senegal, Ghana. They all used to go to Liberia for tourism because Monrovia was a happening town. It had good clubs. They have Robertsport, which has great surfing. Did you know that? Surfing in Liberia. Robertsport is renowned for its surfing. People from Australia come there to go to surfing there. But that's been pretty much the extent of what it was around that area, Monrovia and Robertsport. But it had a lot of tourism back in the day. In the 60s, it was the place to go to. The Americans had a 12-hole golf course, which is an odd number, 12-hole. We turned that into a training center later on. Okay, so my Afrikaans. Let's see if I can do this right. Vergaan je speel met je matties. Vergaan je spoor terwijl. Vergaan je val, gaan je opstaan en huil. En waar gaan je sta na de zonzak wat mal strek. Wat los ons voor ons kindes. Wat gaan ons een dag kan wies. Wat is nog rek of verkeerd wil ik weten. Wat mag ons als jaar se zwet te verhekte gaan. Ik los voor jou die zonne en die zee en die land, mijn kind. Belove zij, jij zal aan die einde vindt. How's that? Well, that, of course, is the lyrics to Die Land. Die Land. Ik beloof jou. Ik beloof jou. Die land behoort aan jou. Ik beloof jou. Die land behoort aan jou. There you go. So I'm channeling Steve Hofmeyer and Bok von Black. Ik beloof jou. Die land behoort aan jou. There you go. The original Star Trek is on Netflix. Yeah, I watch it on now and then on Netflix, and I'm watching Deep Space Nine on Amazon Prime, I think it is. He's casting a spell. Yebo, yes, Christian. 9 out of 10, says Tian. Brett says, why does France try to have a colonial relationship with their former African colonies? Time seems to have one with Niger. Does France have a cordial relationship with their former African colonies? It depends on the colony. Guinea, no. It didn't for a long time. Sekou Touré was not happy with the dispensation and rejected France's interjection into the relationship. Yeah, they do have a cordial relationship with some former African colonies, but not all. And you'd have to go case by case and discuss them to talk about it. They have one with Niger and Mali. I wouldn't say it's cordial with Mali or Niger. It's I think for Niger and Mali, it's out of a necessity. They keep this relationship. Oh, Robin says, excuse me, Not bad. Sounds like a Dutchman. It's okay, Chris. Gabon, yes. Okay, I'll do a little more. Let's do a little more, okay? Let me see. Let me find that part. Okay. My flag sal aanhou, vai on die sade, sal ek sei vir jou. Ek beloof jou, die land behoort aan jou. Wat het geword van die liefde? Wat het geword, I get that wrong. Wat het geword van die liefde? Wat het geword van die droom? Tränen van duizenden val op de sand. In die bome laat strekke, groei in die landrie. Oh, that one's tough. Ek los vir jou die zonne in die zee, in die land, my kind. Beloof jy sal aan die einde vind. Yeah, anyway. Ek beloof jou, die land behoort aan jou, die land behoort aan jou. Ek beloof jou. I sound like a drunk Hollander. Well, I was trying to put a little something into it. Well, they all sounded like drunken Dutchmen in 1652 when Jan van Riebeck got this all started, ladies and gentlemen. So let's keep that in mind. Chris, Brett's, Eric is still here. Niger is dangerous to travel to. France issued a travel warning. Yeah, it is dangerous. Die Land. I see it's the Gemsbok that needs work, but it's good. Anyway, folks. All right, you guys are just dragging it out now. I get some people that are up all night. You want to keep it going. But I haven't eaten today. Not a morsel, not a bite. It's now 7:20 in the evening. I haven't checked my mail. I haven't checked my WhatsApp. I haven't done anything. Trying to keep the streams going, folks. Tomorrow on the channel, we have, you know who it is. Unati Kwaza will be back on the channel tomorrow. And then our very own right here in the chat right now, I'm going to make him save some of the stuff for tomorrow, Brett Sessoms. Brett's going to tell us what it is he likes and why he's so fascinated in Africa, what that's all about. Why is Niger so dangerous? Well, lots of reasons, Brett. Inability of the central government to govern the state, given the capital's way over here in the west and the country's so massive going out to the east and northeast. So difficulty with governance, traditional smuggling routes for the Tuareg, arms smuggling coming into the country, insurgencies, religious insurgencies, criminal syndicates. It's a dangerous place because of kidnappings. That's been going on for a long time. All of these things come together. Viking board, says Mari. Ek is Suis, jy, die hon gaan malakita in die boord. I go to bed at 4 a.m., Robin says. Yeah, well, I need to get some food. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into this special, extra, bonus, Stray Voltage Night Owls edition. All right. Anyway, no, don't worry about Morton. It's fine. I wouldn't stay if I didn't have an interested audience and I didn't enjoy you guys' company. So thank you so much for the questions, the comments. Are we straight then? I don't think he ever came back with Shane. Maybe we've made up with Shane. Hopefully that's the case. Anyway, but thank you all so much. Thanks for tuning into the streams earlier. Thank you for this. Robin says thanks. Robin, thank you for the super chats and super stickers. They're much appreciated. Whether I get a 13 Rand 99 super chat or a 400 Rand super chat, they're both appreciated. The $20 ones are awesome. Where is she at tonight? Missing the $20 super chat or missing that one. But thanks a lot, folks. I do appreciate it. Laizan says, please try saying, no. See, you're setting me up. This is the phrase. I know this is the phrase you give to the Sutis, the Sautis, so they mispronounce Afrikaans. So Laizan, okay, all right, I'm going to try it now. All right, but I need to bring the text up in a way that I can see it on the screen, so I'm not looking down at that. All right, so Laizan wants me to say this. Okay, so she's just messing with me. Hang on, Hank. Don't go away yet, Hank. You're gonna get entertained by this. All right, so I don't want that one. I don't want to mess up my lyrics from Deland. Okay, here we go. Laizan, it's her birthday, so that's the only reason I'm gonna indulge her on this, because it's her birthday. Happy birthday to you, Laizan. All right. Sani se sal seva saki saut sleep sonda dat se sai sleep zwar. Okay, Laizan, there you go. Happy birthday to Laizan. She's 19 today. Erica says cute accent. We'll call you if I need you, Viking Bar, but don't have your number. Okay. Anyway, folks. All right, everybody. God bless. All right, special treat. Let's see what we close out with here. I'll tell you what. Let me find. I don't want that one. That's for Friday. So let me see what else I got here. I can stick up. Oh, here we go. I'm going to leave you with South Africa from Giselle. special treat. I'll have to delete it after the video, but you get to listen to it now. Hank says, well done. Thanks a lot, Hank. Bye a donkey. My plaisir. Okay, here we go, folks. We're going to do this here. And what am I on? Am I on Zoom? I'm on Zoom. That's right. I have to remember where I'm at here. Zoom, because I changed sources here. So Zoom, all participants, that's what I'm on. Okay, let me bring that down here, and then we'll put under this. All right, so here we go, folks. And we're going to have Giselle close us out. Thanks a lot, everybody. God bless. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Unati Quaz and Brett Sessoms. Brett Sessoms right here. Two Americans, and you'll be tuning in from South Africa, those in South Africa, to listen to two Americans. Viking Boers talking to the neighbor. All right, folks, about the neighbor. Here we go. Ciao.